Welcome, everyone, to the Phoebe J. Rose after party. And I just want to once again thank Phoebe for being the guest of honor today. And look, Mr. Randolph just joined us.
Welcome, everyone, to the Phoebe J. Rose.
Okay, somebody's got to turn that shit down. Randolph.
And what are you doing being a car theist anyway?
That must be a question for me. Well, I'm waiting here in the mall parking lot because my wife has an appointment here with a doctor. So I'm just going to wait in the parking lot and chat with all you fine people.
Oh, excellent. I don't know what happened to Mole, but Mole, for the first time in a long time, popped into the chat and then disappeared. But so far with us, we have, of course, the guest of honor, Phoebe, is with us. We also have the wonderful Sam Chaos with us, drinking out of a Doctor Who mug there, which is great. There's Mole. And there's Mr. Pine Snake. Yay, we are
fully
I got
kicked out somehow.
No, that was me. Sorry. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't me. We also have it was God, yeah. We also have the amazing Bionic Danson here with us, also known as King Far. We have, of course, as I just mentioned, my partner in crime down there, Mr. Randolph Richardson. We've got a first-timer in my after parties. Mr. Wayne from the Bin podcast has decided to lower his standards and join our after party.
Welcome,
We've also
Wayne.
No, I'm up in my game.
Welcome, Wayne, and that's not a waning welcome.
Oh, just somebody.
This is Wayne's World.
yeah.
I'm still repping. I've got my merch on, so
Indeed.
make sure.
And one of the first channels that I stumbled across that was ever to mix beer and atheism in a video. Mr. Hopswatch is also with us all the way from Denmark. And of course, we've got the relocating to a room with electricity. The pale blue mom, also known as Amanda, is also joined us as well.
Yeah, thank you, Phoebe, for making me have to get up and fucking move. Awesome.
You get to see me now make, because I'm now going to be really annoying. So that goes just there.
Oh, here we go. And also from across the pond, we've got Pine Snake with us.
Yeah, I'm only here to rip Wayne a new one.
Rip a new one, okay. All
Hey,
right.
I've seen you about in a while.
Good luck.
Burger in a bag.
Yeah, it's well we never get this many Brits in. This is what we get for having it earlier.
Being at a decent time. That's what's going on. It's a decent time for us Brits. We're all sort
I did turn around and say 2 a.m. was a little bit of a late start for me.
Should I fake an accent just to fit in?
Sure, you can try.
That's what we've all been doing for years.
Do a Canadian accent.
Oh, I don't know if I can do a Canadian accent. I don't know. I don't know if that was at all.
Just continuously apologise and you'll get there.
Just say a boot a lot. Just say a boot.
I'm
Just
so
say everything's a boot
sorry.
this
My
and a boot
Canadian
that.
accent is terrible. I don't mean it as an offense to anybody. My condolences to the world for doing a terrible kid. No, anyway.
I'm highly offended.
Hey, we're Canadians.
Answering Kate.
We'll
I'm
go along
highly
with it.
offended.
You can't offend us.
You're totally not doing it right. Hey.
I know.
No, I'm
Actually, it was pretty good.
there's actually a few different Canadian accents because depending on where you are in the country, like in
Isn't that the same with every country on Earth?
Yeah,
There's
pretty much.
barely a few Canadians total. How do you have a few accents?
Terribly many accents in, say, like Cuba. Somewhere small, probably has like one or
Have
two.
you never
vowels.
been to England, which is about the size of, someone's left foot? And
Yeah.
it's got accents galore.
But
there's like
but
40
I've
accents.
been to Cuba, and it's about the size of a hair on the pinky toe of that left foot. So
I would like to point out that if you take the Mancunian accent from Manchester and the Liverpudlian accent, which is Scouse, they are 30 miles away from each other and they can't understand each other.
This is true.
Words that I am sure are actual words, but as an American, they don't sound like words to me.
Now, what's very fun is
It could
living.
be worse. You could throw in a Geordie into that mix as well.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
thing is,
I mean, I live less than 10 miles away from Manchester, and when a Manc gets particularly drunk, I can't always understand them, to be fair.
I was just going to say that I live on the Pennines, and there's a 5 mile stretch of road from Skipton, a town in Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
And
Yorkshire.
as if you couldn't tell from my accent. And then there's another town called Colne, which is 5 Mile Road, and the accent is completely different just between them two spots.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Now, oh God.
Well, I moved to Southern California about 5 years ago, and
My
granted,
condolences.
I'm nowhere near Los Angeles, but I still keep hoping at some point I'll hear someone going like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it! I mean, look around you, gee, like really, you know, I've never heard anyone do the Valley Girl
really?
accent and mean it. You know what I mean?
You mean that
If you
Valley
want
Girl
that,
accent?
watch
Where,
the latest series of RuPaul's Drag Race in America, and just watch all the bits with Gottmik in it, because Gottmik just sounds like that regardless.
you mean that Valley Girl accent where everything is a question?
Oh,
Yeah, that's
upspeak, yeah.
Australians have that as well.
I speak a language which sounds like boiling porridge, but we actually still have dialects.
Boiling porridge.
I think I'm unlikely to watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Not nearly enough spaceships.
I kept waiting for someone to wave a checkered flag, and it just never happened.
Oh wow!
All I can say,
that's my favourite.
There is one thing I will say about Danish. It is the world's most convoluted and complicated numbering system I have ever encountered.
Yeah, that's
All I'll
insane.
say.
Absolutely stupid. And when you see, there is actually a system somewhere in there, but when you teach children how to count, you just teach them to learn it by heart. And then, I mean, I learned the system when I was in secondary school or high school, if you like. Then my teacher told us, you know, the numbers are called this because this way and that way, and we had to have him explain it a couple of times before it made sense to us. But
why is it that most Scandinavians that speak English sound like Northern English people?
They've watched too much Our Wiedersehen, Pat.
I can only talk for Danes basically, but we would be taught British English basically. And I mean, personally, the reason I speak like I do is that I've been influenced by Scots and people from northern parts of Great Britain for a period of my life. I was playing the bagpipe, so I had people come over from Scotland, and to
cite like famous people, I know Gully Solskjaer, who's a Man United manager, and Peter Schmeichel, the former Danish, and Kasper Schmeichel. They all sound northern, and Jartan has hints of Scottish in his accent. So
this is true.
Well, you know, it's funny
I will
talking
say
about
about the first three, though, they
people,
did spend-
My favorite band is Roxette. They're from Sweden. So I ended up watching a lot of interviews and hearing a lot of Swedish people speak. And you know what? They don't do the "yeah, we come from Sweden, boingy, boingy, boing," like the Swedish chef. That's not a real thing.
Boinky.
The hurdy-gurdy. The
Well, it does
hurdy-gurdy.
sound boingy, doesn't it? Yeah, we come from Sweden, boingy, boingy, boing. It has that sound, but that's such a weird stereotype that doesn't seem to be borne out in reality. So where the hell did it come from?
Norway.
You hear
It comes from Norway. Norwegians speak like that.
Do they?
Yeah, I worked
I'm
with a
not sure.
Norwegian bloke once. I'm
not sure if they do when they're speaking English, but they definitely do when they speak Norwegian. So
Yeah.
So somehow someone thought it was Swedish instead of Norwegian and turned it into that stereotype. Oh well, fair enough, whatever.
It might, might
No,
have
in fairness, I'm just gonna blame the English and call it a day.
My introduction to Swedish was the Swedish chef on the Muppet Show. So,
yeah, you know what the Germans call him?
What do they call him?
Yeah, they call him the Danish chef.
Really?
The Germans actually call the Swedish chef the Danish chef. Yeah,
They didn't get the memo. Is that it?
something like that. And do you know what the Swedes call him? This is very interesting.
What?
I was
American
going to ask that.
Not the
German
American
chef.
chef, no.
The German
Not the German chef. No.
All right.
No, you wait for it. Wait for it.
Just chef.
Wait for it. They call him
The wanker.
drum roll. They call him. Someone make a drum roll.
I don't. There,
The Swedish chef.
Oh.
That's very anticlimactic, Hops. I got.
Yeah, I know.
It was.
It is kind of funny still. I mean, they have a sense of self-irony, what we want to call it.
You know, never did hear the punchline to that joke about the weird automobile.
Right, the Skoda, because we were talking about that just before we were going live. So for everyone who remembers Skoda as a bad car, when it was produced in Czechoslovakia, and it had a really, really bad reputation. And in Denmark, we made all kinds of jokes about the Skoda car back in the day. So so a couple of them that I can remember, like off the cuff, is how many people are employed at the Skoda factory? 2. One is cutting the paper and one is gluing it together. Now, how many people are working at the Trabant factory in East Germany? If you remember the Trabant factory.
Oh, Phoebe, your muffins look great.
Or the Trabant car. So there are 3. One is cutting the paper, one is gluing it together, and one is spying at Skoda. And also, what do you call an instruction manual for a Skoda car?
Toilet paper.
Nope. You call it Mein Kampf.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Wow.
And Randolph, it's Phoebe.
Well, you know, that,
Oh, I'm sorry, Phoebe.
that made me think
Thank you
about
for correcting me.
you know, like newsflash, IKEA has announced their new car line. Put it together yourself. You know, one of those.
Yeah.
I
Right.
find it ironic that someone brought up Mein Kampf, considering we did talk about the extreme and far right.
Indeed, yes.
I bet some people would actually buy a do-it-yourself car.
It's called a kit car. It's called a kit car.
Yeah. I mean,
But they have
that's
them.
the
It's
thing.
real.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Yep.
Yes, they're real.
There is
Alright.
an open source. Go ahead.
If you see a car in the UK with a number plate beginning with a Q, that's Q for Quebec, it means somebody has built it themselves.
Wow. Are there a lot of those?
That's not strictly true. It could have been an importer as well.
It is
The,
extraordinarily
Or a milk
unlikely
float.
I'll see a car in the UK, much less
Or a
one with a
milk
Q
float.
on the
Or it
license
could be a
plate.
milk float.
Bionic Dance, you might find interesting. There's something on the internet called an open source car, and you get all the parts yourself and you build it.
Yep.
They call it Oscar,
I feel
OSCAR.
like Essex Man is going to school me now. I'm going to get schooled by Essex Man now.
I'm going to say the first 3D printed car has just been on the road, and when you are
Wayne, you're
muted,
muted. You're muted, Wayne. Yeah, you're muted.
Oscar, I love that.
Q plates are no longer a thing, and when they changed the registrations from the alphabet to the year, Q plates were about phased. So
Oh, were they?
no,
They
yeah.
were phased out. I did not realise that.
Yeah.
The more you know.
yeah, but there is still some reserved numbers and letters for what were Q, but it's very few and far between you find them these days.
Yeah, and they're all owned by Donald Trump. Oh, look at you! Oh, by the way, I was behind a General Lee and the Back to the Future DeLorean today.
Oh wow!
As well as an XO1. They're doing like some promo thing around my way for a car show in Chelmsford. So they had all the movie cars out doing a little drive around.
Cool.
We had the Scooby-Doo van around here just recently that I saw going by.
Yeah, there was one of them as well.
Mystery Machine.
Mystery Machine.
They
Yeah.
got a few. Yeah, those are really. I want one of those so badly.
So
We
I'd
just
love to
have
have
people driving
like it doesn't
tanks.
even have to be a DeLorean, just something with those gull-wing doors.
I kind of want the Ecto
Oh,
one
yeah.
from the Ghostbusters too.
Yeah, there you go. That was earlier.
Oh,
General Lee, go. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, generally not
Just
so
a good
cool,
old
but
boy.
the car.
Yeah, the car. Yes.
right.
Yeah, not so much General Lee. He was a bit of a cunt.
Yeah, he was.
A little bit.
Only if
Yeah,
you're
that
north
entire shot. I'm going to say that entire shot is a bit of a problem.
Oh yeah.
The general. It's weird.
But the thing is, we didn't pay it no mind back in the 80s. We were just like, yeah, there's a big car that jumps and there's a girl wearing
Right.
shorts. Yeah, that's how shallow.
And for some reason, they climb in through the windows.
Because the doors were welded shut. Oh my god!
But
Yeah,
why
it
were
was
they
a stock
welded
car.
shut? I don't know.
It's a stock car.
That's
So they weld the door
the
shut.
General
It's-
Grant, you
The General
See-
Grant.
see. Yeah.
That's the General
Wow.
Lee that does not vote for Donald Trump, I take it.
Well,
See-
you know, Lee,
General Lee that
and
voted
General
Hillary
Grant
Clinton.
were on the opposite sides of each
That's-
other on
that's-
the
That's
Civil
the
War.
General Sherman
Mm.
or the General Grant.
It said General Grant, it said on there. So
It did say General Grant.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Ulysses S.
Well,
Grant.
that's awesome. That's good. The Union version. Wonder what they would have like a parallel universe, like the Dukes Hazzard were in New York or some shit.
Oh, it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, there was a comic book series. I didn't read it called Red Sun, where instead of Kansas, Superman ended up landing in Russia.
Oh yeah,
I've seen that. I've seen that.
If the
Well,
Dukes
what's
of
that-
Hazzard
what's that-
was in New York, would Rudy Giuliani be replacing Boss Hogg?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot. Well, has anyone seen that film Brightburn, which is like the?
Yes.
Is that any good?
I liked it. I thought it was a very good dark twist on what Superman could have been.
Yeah, because as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, "This is bad Superman," and it's.
Oh, yeah.
I've still not got around to watching it. So please don't give me any spoilers because I really want to.
Well, hold on a
it's very
second.
good.
A bad Superman, and you're considering watching it? Superman was bad enough as it began with.
Hey, whoa,
no.
That's fighting words there.
Okay, I'm going to step back. Go on, Blind Snake. Defend your position.
You ever stop and wonder about how people got so darn excited about seeing what might be a bird or possibly a plane before they realize it's Superman? It's a bird. No, it's like, oh my gosh, you people have no lives at all.
Is it a bird?
Right?
Is it a plane? No, it's a wanker in tights.
It's a bird. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a suicide.
Oh, look, he thinks he can fly.
Sick burn.
See, Americans, it's not just you with a bad self.
No, talking about suicide, Wayne. Do you remember who said?
Nice
you remember who
segue.
said?
Talking about suicide.
No,
Suicide may be a great.
Wow.
Suicide may be a great hobby, but I wouldn't do it for a living.
You know, the reason why I got kicked off of my Facebook account is because they claimed that 4 years ago I had threatened suicide. I fucking didn't. But that's why I don't have my Facebook account anymore. And then when I requested a review, they let it sit for 30 days and said, well, it's been 30 days. We can't review it.
Fun.
Yeah.
See,
I'm not happy with
I
Facebook
can't-
right now,
So
but it
now
had
you go to
everything
the
to do with
oversight
being
board.
falsely accused of claiming I was going to commit suicide.
I see. I can't really use Facebook because my screen name Facebook doesn't like, and my actual name Facebook doesn't like.
What? Why?
Picky.
They say it's not a real name, and therefore I can't have it because I have to use the name I go by IRL.
Oh.
Don't they usually ask for ID?
No.
No.
They
No.
asked me for my license.
You get carded by
by
Facebook.
No shit. Yep.
So Facebook
Oh, shit.
disabled my account after a bunch of anti-vaxxers got mad at me for posting a science article in Scientific American or something that explains how vaccines work and wasn't actually advocating for people to get vaccinated. It was just explaining the science behind it. And I come look at Facebook the next morning and say, holy cow, I got over 100 comments on this. This is great. And then I look at them all and they're all anti-vaxxers mad at me. And then my account got disabled. And so I went to their appeals department and turned out there's like 20 or so false accusations about me that have nothing to do with anything that I do. And I told them, look, I addressed each one of them, and they replied within about a minute and said, okay, we're not going to re-enable your account for any reason ever. Never use our systems again. It's like, okay, so
That's-
wow.
Facebook is anti-vax.
That's because you're a professional troll.
So I regard Facebook to be
Jesus.
anti-vax.
Yeah. What you get for sharing real information?
Well, they're definitely anti-you.
Their algorithm is blind to nuance and context is part of the problem.
Yeah. So we're in the same kind of the same boat, Bionic Dance.
Yeah.
I just
not
know
alone.
that we're talking about vaccines. I just received a Facebook message from a friend who has been observing what a Danish anti-vaxxer has been writing over the last couple of minutes, and it's really dreadful. So the reason I'm actually here is that I really had to just take a couple of minutes off or an evening off after the football match.
Yes, I was watching
was
that
on-
football match, and that was distressing.
Yeah, it was.
Really
Avoid
distressing.
football.
For
What
those of you
happened?
who are unaware, I was watching the football match. It was Denmark versus Finland, first round of Group B, first match in that group. 43 minutes in, 29-year-old striker collapses.
Christian Eriksen.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter.
Seriously, he just
I
did
didn't
this.
know anything about it, but I saw
He's a midfielder.
Well, there you go. I'm schooled again by the Essex man.
I don't even know exactly where he is, but he's a football star. So he
And you could see
actually
him having
collapsed with a
CPR
heart
done on
attack.
him.
Yes.
He was having CPR done on him, and you could see him being defibrillated because the host was not doing the most.
Did he have like one of them?
No,
What's that part that affects?
I went in on the BBC on Twitter about this because they could have easily pushed the dump button and gone to generic footage, showed the crowd or something like that, but they kept
Or
the
just gone
cameras
back to the
on him.
studio. Or just gone back to the
but
studio.
they kept the cameras on him, and I was tweeting with a pal of mine, and he was saying, "Oh, but surely there's just like a Euro feed that they get," and I'm like, "No, they've got the option to dump anytime any broadcaster in any territory can dump that footage." And
the thing is,
Yeah.
they got a huge load of pushback a few years ago when there were a player had a heart attack on the pitch.
Yeah.
And they took it away.
Moamba.
Bolton, yeah.
They got a huge outcry about it, saying, "Well, why weren't you on it? We wanted to see that you were okay and that you were getting the help that I needed to give us confidence." People were talking out of their arse. They just wanted to see the gooey thing.
Of course.
Right.
But I think that's why they did it.
No, but the thing is, can I just chime in on that? The England warm-up game the other week, or was it the other day, there was a streaker, and they kept the camera locked on the hard cam, looking at where the ball went out of play. The streaker was on the left-hand side of the pitch, and they just kept it on the right-hand side of the pitch. So it proves that they can do it if they want to. And the fact that the Danish players formed a ring around Eriksen to keep the cameras off him shows that
There's
they were
actually
out
a
of
reason for
fucking
that
touch.
as well. There's actually a reason for that as well.
Sorry, I just want to say goodbye to everybody. My battery's getting really low on my laptop. So take care. Thanks for hosting another wonderful after party. And thanks to everyone in the audience for tuning in.
Thank you,
See you, man.
The reason for the streaking one is a cricket channel got a community strike on YouTube because they had the rights to it from YouTube, and having someone run past with their tits hanging out got banned off YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so if they put that out on YouTube, which it is in some areas, they can get the channel banned.
But the other thing is,
But that was ITV's live feed. That was a different. It was.
The other thing when it comes to things like streakers and stuff is they don't want to encourage them from doing it, because in the early 2000s there was this big thing of like cricket streakers, snooker streakers, football streakers, rugby. So what they do is to discourage people from interrupting the football matches, the government passed laws to say that, excuse me, what are you doing? And then they told all the broadcasters just put a hard cam on, like the goal or the managers or the referee or something.
Yeah, it were a big thing in the 70s with football, and the TV channels obviously followed them. If they were women, if they were men, then they went off somewhere else, and they got a lot of hash about that as well.
Yeah, because they always do. They always put the disclaimers up when it's like an FA Cup tie against like a massive team against some low league team, and their Atmos mics pick up all of the supporters, and they're all like just shouting all kinds of fruity language.
No,
And,
anyway, the national TV channel, which we still have here in Denmark, actually went to show pictures from the helicopter which was circling around the national stadium, instead of showing anything that happened on the field when it was all going down. So
yeah,
props
which
for that.
which proves my point to my friend who was saying, oh, it's not down to the BBC, and I'm like, no, it is. They have the choice to be able to switch feeds.
Exactly.
And you've just done that. Case in point, your Danish broadcaster went, no, we're going to go to the helicopter feed as opposed to the live feed.
Hey, Jeff.
The thing is, no, and even if they did have the control, they could have just gone back to commentary in the studio. They didn't have to stick with that. So there were other options.
Exactly. So I think the critique of the BBC is justified because there were other options, as has been alluded to and proved by your contributions.
And now, if you want another despicable angle on this one, because this was actually what I was talking about at the beginning. I got this Facebook message from a friend who was directing me to a Danish conspirator woo-woo.
Was this one of these anti-vaxxer wankers?
Cretin. Yeah, she is. And what she's saying here, she's indicating or implying that Christian Eriksen got a heart attack because on the 31st of May he had his second COVID shot.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Fucking Christ!
Yeah, that's absolutely despicable. Fuck's sake! I hate these people. I hate them so much.
What do you think the prevalence with anti-vaxxers and just woo of all sorts the last five years or so? What do you guys think is the cause? I mean, obviously coronavirus didn't help matters, but I mean, even before that, there was anti-vaxxer nuts all over the place.
Oh yeah,
it's funny you should say that because I listened to a podcast this week. It's actually been on two. One was on I think it was Embrace the Void. Sounds familiar, and Philosophers in Space, and they were saying that you can track it from kind of the beginning of when X-Files started, and it just gradually got worse and worse and worse. And surprisingly, when they actually started breaking down the show to its base points, you can see how without any form of critical thinking skills beyond what the show's taught you, you can make it up as you go along, and that's how you end up with people like Trump and anti-vaxxers being so prevalent.
I am of the view that it is partially to do with the kind of average education received, and I'm going to leave it there, or I will go off on a rant.
Well, I suspect part of it is just simply sheer boredom with the world as it is. I mean, let's face it, this world doesn't exactly present us with anything magical or adventurous that we didn't create. You know, I would love it if the world was a little bit more like what we see in the movies. So having this notion of, I know, like where all the Illuminati are, and I can see the strings being pulled and stuff, I'm sure that feels great to some people, to feel special in that way. I mean, it's bullshit, but
that makes sense.
If I can just build, I think
maybe it's the whole like scientist thing or whatever, but I see so much like fantastical stuff in the world and so much adventure.
Yes and no, but I mean, like, when I remember the things that were promised or at least hinted at by a lot of people, like, it took decades from the first time I heard about virtual reality to actually have a VR machine. We still don't have flying cars. I haven't been off this planet and standing on another planet. You know, all that stuff. It's like sure, there's really cool stuff in science, but there isn't a lot to play with, if you see what I'm saying.
I just want self-racing shoot.
I think it's also.
Oh, whoa, Neil, we did have self-lacing shoes. Back in the 90s, we had a thing called Puma Disc, which was basically a wire and a disc where you tightened it up, and that was it. Job done.
Yeah, we also had Velcro.
Yeah.
You can you'll have that again when you're too old to fucking tie him.
Well, it's not about being too old; it's being too drunk to talk.
Or lazy. Or lazy. I guess a lot of them fit.
But I take your point about the kind of the fantastical nature of like how science presented itself back in the day. But I think it's more there are too many cult leaders, your Alex Jones types, where they say they know what's going on. David Icke.
I was going to say even Alex Jones is just a verbatim ripoff of Ben Cooper.
Yeah. 100%.
It's almost verbatim. But what Bionic Dancer and Pale Blue Mama were saying, I think they're not mutually exclusive. We personally don't see anything fantastical in science, whereas Pale Blue Mama working in science does see that on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And some of the animations that Bionic Dance does, they're fantastical to me because I can't do that.
What I was reading about this morning was because I have some time off of work, so I've been going back into some astrophysics scientific journals, reading about primordial black holes and how even the width of only 100 times the size of an atom, if it were to pass through your body, the different things it would do to it, how it would like rapidly expand really quick and then contract all of your internal organs about 30%, which would kill you immediately. But it was just interesting. I don't know. And that's not even something we've done. That's just something that we discovered. And that is fantastic to me. What?
I said, now put what you just described in handgun form.
Actually, you know what's funny is I was talking to John about this earlier, in fact, and he was like, well, can they make a weapon out of that shit? And black holes and primordial black holes are two different things because
Trust Americans want to turn it into a gun.
Well, it was clearly a destructive thing that was being described. If someone had said flight, I would have said, okay, put that in shoes.
I tell you what, actually, I would do that. Make that into a power source so we can go light years across the sky.
So are we talking about black holes and revelations? Like the 2006 album by the band Muse.
Primordial black holes are different from what you think of as a black hole today.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, I was just crowbarring a reference to Musing. So.
Okay.
Primordial black holes, they theorize are what actually make dark matter. So.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
But
so that's where the math point.
That's where the thing being said
what?
About the things about cult leaders earlier. But thinking about cult leaders earlier, I used to be one.
Really?
Wait a minute. Hold on. You never brought this up.
What do you think being someone who's venerated and revered in the far right is? What do you think the person that gets up on stage and starts spouting all this crap is? There's the people that will follow you down the road and just go, yeah, you're the next big thing. What do you think that is apart from being a cult leader?
Sorry, can I we've just met, so I really I'd really like to explore this far right cult.
You're not the only one.
Please elaborate.
Well, how do you want me to elaborate? I can just point you to a stream that I did with Ed on the forums, and you can watch that for 90 minutes.
I can give you 2 words, and I can give you 2 words that explain it, and those 2 words would be Tommy Robinson. Look at the guy following that guy has got.
That's where I were just about to go with that. Thanks, Jeff.
Right. Okay.
I did ask, but it was towards the end of the stream, and I think you'd already finished. But I don't know exactly how old you are, and I'm not going to ask a lady. But was it Tommy Robinson? Was it Nick Griffin? What kind of time was it that you were getting into it?
It was
that was just simply secular Dave.
It was the world of Stefan Molyneux was the big bloke.
Oh, here we go.
So relatively new then. Not as far back as Nick Griffin.
But I remember the rise of Nick Griffin. I remember the rise of the MP. And I remember being given Stefan Molyneux stuff at the very beginning of his stuff.
Right. So what is it that drew you to that? And then what is it that drew you away from it and made you have this sort of like gear crunching change of
you don't get drawn to it. You get educated, quote unquote, into it. So the way it worked with me is I was in a very toxic relationship where the person I was in the relationship kept feeding me little videos of Stefan Molyneux, of Lawrence Southern, of Mr. Alex Jones, of more and more far right people, and was reinforcing this in the relationship I was in. And when you're in a toxic relationship, when you're being radicalized, you generally don't realize both of those things are happening to you. And that's what was happening to me. I was being radicalized by the person that I was in a relationship with. Gradually, I was being radicalized, and gradually I got further and further into it. And I started to believe what was being told to me by the person that I was in the relationship with. And more that I got fed it, and the more and more that I didn't bring other points of view in and shut those other points of view out. And then I went and sought out my own, and then I went and sought out more of it. And then I went to meet up with people local to me that was saying similar things. It then spiraled from there.
So you went for confirmation bias?
Not necessarily confirmation bias, it's radicalization.
It sounds like hitting hard on the bite model that Telltale Atheist talks about. Behavioral modification, information control, emotional control. I'm assuming when you're saying it's a toxic relationship. So it's hitting high, but it sounds of it. And I think people like Telltale would be interested in probably chatting to you about it, because he's only had the American-centric idea of the far right and what have you. So I think having a European view of it might
Because the other thing that is interesting in the British far right is it's not as overtly anti-Semitic as the US far right is. Because if you look closely at some of the protests that were taking place more recently, you would see in the crowds of the far right, you would see the Star of David flag being flown as well. And I was one of those lunatics.
Yeah. I'm just thinking
there's a lot of crossover.
They used to target marches by the Palestine Solidarity campaign, for example. The English Defence League used to do that. And I was on a Palestine Solidarity march and had this first-hand run-in with the EDL. So
it's scary.
It's like
it's scary realizing that I was one of those people that had gone from being, quote unquote, a respectable, open-minded member of society to being a radicalized conduit of hate and conduit of destruction, and realizing that I myself was contributing to trying to rip the fabric of society itself apart.
So Phoebe, how deep
all of that kind of hate that I have for Quebec? Other than that, I like everybody.
But Phoebe, how deep were you in this kind of mindset?
People were grooming me to start moving up the ranks very fast.
Really? And then was there to sort of shift it forward a bit? Was there a moment or an activity that made you go, hang on a fucking minute, I'm being a bit of a wrong here?
When the toxic relationship ended, my grandmother had died. So I was focused only on that. And then I went into counselling for that. And then I tried to find another counsellor, and that counsellor wouldn't touch me, because they knew who I was. They refused to see me. And when they refused to see me and they told me why, then it was like, oh shit. So when this counsellor refused to help me point blank and told me why they refused to help me, then I realized, oh shit, something's not quite right here.
And with that realization, was it you having to sort of like look at yourself introspectively and go, why is this person not wanting to talk to me? And you saying, is there something wrong with me and my ideas? Or was it a case of, I need help, why won't you help me?
It was a bit of both. Because I looked at it and it's like, well, okay, you won't help me. Why won't you help me? But also, what's wrong with me that this person won't help me? Because normally they'll just help anybody. I must clearly be on some radar for someone or somewhere that this person has turned around and said, "I won't touch you."
Well, it's that what's wrong with me part that so few people seem to do. Left or right, it doesn't matter. It may not even be about politics.
Right.
But the sheer number of times I've had to say to people who've been like, why is everyone reacting so badly to me on this issue? And I'm like, have you ever considered it might be you? And they don't. They assume, no, I shit rainbows. The rest of you just don't get it.
Yeah.
And it's like that self-examination, that introspection doesn't exist for some people.
Yeah, that deconstruction of ego is the hardest thing for a lot of people who have really big destructive problems in their life to conquer, because it's so entrenched as part of their identity that when you actually address it and say, no, the reason that you are failing in life is because of this, because it's so much part of their identity that they're not willing to address it, that they will just call you a wrong one and say, no, fuck off, mate. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with that. And that you can have that with any kind of like addiction, any kind of personality disorder. Sorry, go on, Pine.
I'm going to say this brings us back around circle, because you're in a situation where your stereotypes of yourself are being reinforced. No, it's not you being the arsehole, it's them.
Yeah.
So you've got a group of only like 50 vocal people, but you've got 50,000 people saying, look, it's you that's the arsehole. But the small group of 50 are reinforcing your own thing. So you're going to have a confirmation bias, and cognitive dissonance is going to kick in.
There's more to it than that, though, because I've heard of right-wingers who are like, they realize that they've drunk the Kool-Aid and they want to get out, but they don't see a way to do it that gives them a safe landing, that allows them to save face. And so they think, well, I have nowhere else to go. I'll keep being this horrible, destructive right-winger because nobody else will take me. So, if we can create a safe landing zone for people who want to get out.
That goes right back to what he was saying. I'm a recovering addict. I'm a heroin addict, a recovering heroin addict. And if I wouldn't have let my ego be knocked down, I would have never got off of dope. So what you're saying is their egos won't let them get out of the right lane.
It's not just their ego.
I mean, even just simple things like apologizing or admitting error can be really difficult because other people will use it as a way to make you feel worse. It's like
you're right. Yeah,
I want to tell people, "Oops, my bad," but I know that if I do, they'll go, "Well, now you've lost our trust forever, and we hate you." And ha ha, aren't you stupid? And I'm like, "Well, why would I ever admit error if I know that's the result?"
How many
there's also the view
is how easy is it for people to simply turn around and say, I'm going to drop these people as friends. I'm going to walk away from a nice, embracing, open community for me and go and find other people and be lonely and be alone and try to find my own way in the world. How many people?
That is hard, I bet.
I've done
that. That is tough.
There's also another point to look at. With many things, including things like addiction in some instances, but particularly within being part of the far right movement or homo or transphobic movement, there's also the fact that you've then got to face all those people that you've harmed, and you've got to try. You're never going to atone for it properly, but you've then got to try and change.
That's what I mean about saving face.
This is the problem. There's this overarching push that somebody's past controls their future.
Yeah.
And saying that people must atone, you have to atone. Never let somebody let go of their past and live in the present and live in the future and do better. There has to be a move away from saying you must atone for the rest of your life for everything.
I'm not saying that you do. I'm not saying that you do.
What I'm saying, but I'm not saying you do, but I'm saying there's this general movement. And one of the big things that kept reinforcing me in the far right was when you would have people, especially in the media, that would turn around and say, white people are racist just because they're white people, or white people are born racist, etc., etc. That was one of the most damaging and most reinforcing and most radicalizing statements that can be said to somebody who is susceptible to the far right, because it gives them something to say, They are victimizing me. They are saying that I am the problem, but I haven't done anything. I just exist. So I'm being attacked.
No, but I hear that. I want to know.
Just let Sam talk. She's been trying to push him for a bit.
Yeah, sorry,
Wayne. Go on, Sam.
I think that there's when we discuss things like that people shouldn't be kneecapped by their past actions. I think trying to find the balance there is very difficult because there is this. It feels like a very Christian idea to me that your past actions must follow you forever, but equally the things you've done in the past do affect you. And I think some people, in trying to get away from that very Christian idea, go the opposite direction, go too far. And like, as someone who's non-binary, I have said some really transphobic shit in the past. I used to be fucking Pentecostal, which I obviously don't hold anymore, and no one holds me to that.
Of course not. That's not who you are
equally,
now.
I have to acknowledge that when I first met them, I genuinely hurt some of my friends.
Yeah.
But are you
Well, I will say I only like about half of the trans community. I mean, those Autobots are great, but the Decepticons, bunch of wanks.
Well, as I think it goes to what we've been saying, is like my deconversion story. I was never a theist in any tangible sense, really. I was born to a atheist family, and I went to Sunday school. I didn't believe it, but it was important for me to learn. But what my deconversion was from a bigot in almost every sense of the word to embracing humanism and trying to be just that little bit less of an arsehole every day. Sometimes I succeed, other times I'm just a complete twat. And it's a case of I've not forgotten what I was. I let it influence what I become. And I think that's a healthy way to progress it. But as Phoebe was saying, the media puts a narrative on things where it's stripped all kind of nuance from what the actual discussion is. And the far right can feed off that to see these people are just saying you're a racist because you were born. No, you're born into a society that puts latent lenient racism on you because you are white. You have all these extra step-ups that people of color don't have. That's not you being a racist. It's just you benefiting from a racist system.
Yeah.
By the same token, I have an uncle who says he's more oppressed than a black man because he can't use the N-word.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm gonna jump in on this because this is something that really, really does affect me directly, to one of my closest friends who sees the equalization of any racial disparities or sexual disparities as oppression to him as a straight white ginger male. He
I like how you brought in ginger into that.
Bring in ginger. I had to.
Well, you've got enough Brits in here that we're all biased against gingers anyway.
Let's be honest. That is.
Oh, I don't have any ginger nuts. Damn it! I don't have any ginger nuts.
Okay. How did they end up getting called gingers here in the U.S.? We always call them redheads. When did that change?
No, I'm sorry. It's not a ginger. It's a ginger.
Well, I actually know when it changed. It's the same time that you Americans took the U out of color.
Oh, when we improved the language, when we streamlined it, upgraded it. English
and started calling aluminum.
Oh, don't go that one.
Aluminium.
But anyway, to my point, what's really going on is certain people in a certain group have had things in their court for so long that when they see other people being brought up to their level, they see it as they're being diminished. In reality, it's not. It's just everyone else being brought up. And unfortunately, that a very good pal of mine, he will sit there and count the amount of brown faces in adverts and on telly and representation. Goes, oh yeah, well that's not representation. That's just another white person losing their job because political correctness.
Oh fuck's sakes!
Oh, just quickly on this one. I had a guy that I used to work with. He used to say, all these Polish folk coming in and taking our jobs. I'm sorry, if someone that comes into the country doesn't speak our language can get a job before you, that's something wrong with you, mate.
See, the thing is that they literally...
Point sake, that's Schrodinger's immigrant. They're taking your jobs and your benefits at the same time.
Yeah.
So they're coming over here, taking our benefits and our jobs.
Thing is that 20, 30... Sorry, go on, Sam.
The best bit is that despite legislation which says they're literally physically unable to take our jobs, they're taking our jobs still.
Yeah, and they're not able to take the benefits.
I don't know which jobs they claim they're taking over there in the UK, but here in the US, when people start talking about, oh, they're taking our jobs and all that stuff, it's like always the shittiest jobs. Like, did you really want to pick fruit for minimum wage?
Well, this is the thing. It's been an ongoing thing since the 50s. There you go. It's been an ongoing thing from the 50s with the Windrush generation. We had all these jobs with no people to fill them, so the government's opened the borders to Commonwealth and says, right, however many thousand,
etc.
Yeah,
the
everything.
Jobs that was needed to be done because we were having a booming population after the war.
Was that right after World War II? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So you had jobs that weren't being done. So you had road sweepers, you had cleaners in hospitals, you had postmen that just weren't being done. So you just had to have more people come in.
Well, this is the thing.
Sorry, let me just quick jump in on this because this is very apt. My nan and granddad on my dad's side could not be more stereotypical. Windrush, right? My granddad was a bus driver. My nan was a nurse. These two jobs were people were crying out for those roles to be filled.
Highly skilled.
Within no, not even highly skilled. Public sector, public fronting jobs that needed to be filled because we had people coming back from the war, maimed and all kinds of fucked up. We had Germans building our houses and all that. So we invited people from the Caribbean to come here and fill these jobs. And then when they came here, the general, and India and Pakistan, and when these people came here, and Ireland.
Signs on the windows that used to say "No dogs."
Australia's.
And when they came,
no Irish.
And when they came,
why do you think the Irish and the West Indian accent are so close? Because it came
because they're always drunk.
No. Right. You ask a West Indian person to say 33 1/3 and ask an Irish person to say 33 1/3.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get exactly the same answer.
Do they say turkey? Turkey tree?
33 1/3.
33 1/3.
That's because after the Napoleonic Wars, when the army got stepped down, they sent them all off to the West Indies, expecting the Irish to die.
My grandparents are from Montserrat, which is called the Emerald Isle of the Caribbean, which is basically a volcano in the middle of the fucking Atlantic.
I don't know what a third is. 33. That's triacha a tree.
Don't you start.
Oh, you shush now. we couldn't understand the numbering system at the best of times in Danish, let alone it being said with a funny accent.
And chuckling over the fact that it ended with turd, but that's just me.
Turd.
Look, keep your fucking. There is no need for that kind of Asgardian fucking language here.
Mute the pair of them. Do us a favour, Neil. Mute the pair of them.
All I know is in Canada we've got the tree. That's all a Canadian joke here about hockey announcers where tree and the turd. Hey, of course, tree. You know, so it's all.
Is that with the Zamboni chasing you?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, chasing you like
chasing you like running away from the Zamboni. Going.
All right, who's coming to get me? It'll be here any second now. Coming to get me.
If that's a hockey reference, he's not going to do that because they won't have any teeth.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah. That's more like free.
Please.
They don't get teeth.
Hockey fights are worse than WWE, so don't even fucking start.
Oh yeah, they can be. They fucking can be.
You hit my stick. You hit my stick. You hit my stick.
Oh come on. That's
Hey,
not
look,
how
at least in WWE, you occasionally get, gravy wrestling, and that's funny.
Not since 2001 when
it all went PG.
Yeah.
It all went PG, didn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed my top. I'm kind of.
I am much more a fan of AEW. I will take AEW over WWE today.
Oh.
I don't watch either. I don't watch either of them anymore.
All I can say is that
me either.
Impact Wrestling has fallen the death and is going the way of ECW. Impact Wrestling to be the new ECW
Maybe.
and just die.
What is it? What is Impact Wrestling?
It's a United States-based professional wrestling brand, which is a bit shit.
Professional.
Yeah, I think it's like
It's sports entertainment.
Okay, so it's fixed games, just like
Stuntmen.
Have you ever seen Dirty Dancing?
Simulated combat.
The point where he's just dropping her, that's wrestling that they're referencing.
Right, Pine Snake. To give you the context of how I see it, it's punch-up theatre.
Uh-oh, here we go.
There you go.
Well, what I've never quite understood, because I've watched the tiniest bit of wrestling, like back when it was WWF, like in the 80s. I stopped watching. But the thing is, like it always seemed like they were participating in their own abuse. Like when they would throw one guy against the ropes so that he would come back at them and they could clothesline the guy, it sure looked like he was cooperating.
Uh-huh.
The thing that always got me is...
You figured it out.
I know. But the fact that it was so obvious made me think there must be something I was missing.
The thing that got me is you got someone knocking the shit out of someone else for 25 minutes, and then in 3 seconds he's all full of energy again, and he drops them and wins. It's like whoever will win for most of the match was going to lose.
I think
To be honest,
I have, like, the little bit I've seen of it just feels really ridiculous and fake. But then I pay about as much attention to this. I pay about as much attention to this shit as I do to football. And earlier I had to Google what midfielder and striker were. So
that's all right. I keep having to translate it into soccer in my head because I forget you people don't have real football. No, I'm kidding. I don't care about sports.
Right, where's Nick Jones when you need him?
When I talk about football, you can need to write the extra down.
Sorry, you guys actually trying to tell me that guy Joey Ryan really doesn't flip people with his dick? So that's fake.
Excuse me, where did that come from?
Whoa.
I thought Jerry Ryan played 7 of 9.
Everybody
Joey,
me too.
Please,
Joey
Essex
Ryan.
man needs to get his top and take me in now.
The Joey Ryan dick flip is a legit move. That is scientifically proven.
Oh yeah.
If you grab his junk, he will be able to physically flip you with a hip thrust, twisting his penis in a counterclockwise motion.
Anti-clockwise, you British, please. Anti-clockwise, please.
Yeah,
What about
I'm trying to be welcoming to our American friends and our Canadian friends.
For the first time, we've got a British takeover on this. Live it.
You don't have to be nice to them until they get universal health care. That's it.
Hey, Canadians have that. Yanks don't.
Yeah.
Hey, now don't blame me for that shit. I want universal health care. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think that's reaching too far. Let's try galactic health care and see how it goes first.
I do remember once on Twitter, there were the usual joke, America's better, Britain's better, or whatever. And I just said, and Kate replied, I said to her, it's okay, we'll take you back into the empire, but we'll give you health care. We'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you the other, like paid maternity leave or whatever it was. I think Kate says, deal, as long as you prove there's aliens first, or something like that.
I may have said something like that. It sounds like me.
Do you ever think that maybe
any argument when it comes to Americans and the British, or what would you say, where would you rather break your arm?
Oh, fuck.
yeah, I feel like
I'd rather not break my arm at all.
I feel like every British retort comes down to healthcare.
It's not just that. It's but healthcare, but maternity leave, but paternity leave,
holiday pay, sick pay.
I mean, seriously, like I would be so much happier if the average IQ of this country went up about 15 points.
Yeah, right.
Well, like seriously, you guys can rip on America as much as you want, but let's just remember one thing: the right wingers don't represent all of us, and we're ashamed of them too. Something that people don't seem to understand. Every meme I see that says what Americans think they look like, how they look to the rest of the world, how they act, all of that nonsense, and I'm like, it always describes the worst of us and the people I wish weren't here in the first place. And I don't know, it's a little frustrating.
I mean, in fairness, we are trapped on Turf Island, so.
Way Turf Island for the win.
No. You're not trapped. You can
yes,
get
you
away.
are. No, we were actually trapped recently because it was illegal to leave the country unless you had special permission from the government under COVID rules, and you would have got a £5,000 fine unless the government said, yes, you can leave.
Oh, fuck.
Yep. You needed a visa to
we
get
were
out.
trapped on Turf Island.
Yeah,
so they're already.
We are no longer technically trapped, but I've lost my passport, so I am trapped.
I have to show something.
Sam, you don't need
rare piece of this. This is one of the rarest pieces of Britishness that you'll ever see.
Sam, you don't need a passport to get out. You can still do it on a driving license into Ireland.
Yes, you can.
Can
That's
you?
true.
Oh, that's
I didn't driving license only.
So, can anybody spot what is special about this this passport?
Is it the full screen result?
I can't really see it very well. Can you put it in the light?
Is that a red one? Is that a red?
It's a red one.
Yeah, you've got
blue.
Is that the wee flag at the bottom?
Yeah, I've got a couple of
those are illegible from here right now in that lighting.
Oh, it doesn't say European Union.
Yes, it is a red passport that doesn't say EU on it.
Mine do.
Is that good?
So yours will say EU because now they're blue passports.
Oh, they've actually gone back to blue. Fucking hell.
Yep.
Oh,
is this one of those Brexit things?
Yep.
Yes.
A nice shiny blue passport.
You see, the thing is, right here, the unicorn represents Scotland because they're full of fucking shit.
Do you know what?
Unicorns up and represent virginity too. I wonder what we're saying about Scotland.
Prima nocta.
The thing is, my
do you know why the crown is around the neck?
Yeah, because they're in servitude.
Yes, it's classed as it's like a shackle for a slave.
Yeah. Same as the Welsh dragon is only on the actual shield and not on represented. It's not equal.
Yep.
Same as the harp is on the shield and not.
Technically, it is because it's defended by. That's what that signifies.
Sorry.
I'm a quarter Welsh, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, so a quarter of you doesn't exist.
I say, have I improved my lighting or have I made me worse?
You're like Marty McFly. You're slowly fading away. Just your left arm.
Oh, here we go. I like this.
Yeah, I created my own coat of arms a while back. So, it's got the helmet from Quinn, of Quinn Redshift, the animation I'm working on. It's got some cool looking wings. There's a Zopdaz. There's the Atheist A. There's the Bionic Dance animation logo. That's the character there. Plus the Rocket Girl logo. And the Latin says, fuck them if they can't take a joke.
I always wondered what that meant. I keep forgetting to ask you. I totally kept forgetting to ask.
It used to say God is a fairy tale, but I decided I liked fuck them if they can't take a joke so much better.
That's great. That's great. I'd show you my passport, but it's in my car.
The silhouette of the girl reminded me of Miraculous, the cartoon. I don't know if you have that over there.
I don't know it.
Miraculous. She basically. Yeah, Miraculous is a French cartoon, but it's done in the anime style in CGI.
Oh.
Does anybody?
Yeah, my daughter absolutely loves it. She has a thing called a kwame that turns her into Miraculous, the ladybug.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix here.
Yeah.
What was the name of it again?
Miraculous.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll look for it.
It's
awesome.
Cute. It's cute.
It's basically like Kids Power Rangers. The same thing happens every episode. They power up, they kick someone's ass, they change back. It's fine.
So Voltron then.
Yeah. It's just it's all the same formula.
That's what the character looks like when she's not in silhouette.
Okay, well, look up Miraculous then.
All right.
Kate, is that the same character that did your Patreon things when you were doing videos?
Oh.
It's the same model, but made sort of T1000D.
Okay. That's the one thing I miss about, obviously, your videos. But I used to watch all the way to the end just for them Patreon things. I were really excited when you brought out a new one.
Aw, thanks. Oh,
I mean, Kate, you have fans.
Well, the arguments that you were responding to, it's a case of you doing it for, what, how many years?
About 13-ish.
13 years. So I'm pretty sure by the time you ended it, you'd already responded to just about every argument that there is.
It was interesting to get a new one every now and then, but you're right. It was very repetitive, and people would ask me, "Why do you do it? Why have you done it for so long? And why do you keep repeating yourself?" And I told them, I'm like, "Look, maybe someone hasn't heard it yet." Because there were a lot of atheist YouTubers who would say everything they felt they had to say, make every argument, and then quit. And I'm like, okay, but what about all those other theists out there who are going to go looking at videos maybe like yours, but they're not going to find yours because you're not putting out content anymore. You can't just stop if this is a movement. You can stop if it's catharsis. But if you're trying to get people to stop being religious, you kind of have to keep going, even if it is redundant. Well,
you say that. There was a video you did maybe 7 years ago about argument look to the trees. It was basically that argument that they were making. And you responded in, to be honest with you, a very harsh manner. It basically just said, look what you're doing, you idiot. This is a natural process. A tree grows. It's not special. And then you did another one like maybe 2 years ago or something. And the difference in style, although the argument you were making was still the same, was significant to the point where it did change the whole outlook of the video itself.
Well, if I hadn't evolved a little bit in 13 years, that would be a very terrible statement about me.
That would be
precisely.
Can I ask a question? Because there seems to be a formula going on with all of us. If you could greet the you of 3 years ago, what would you say to that person?
You're a wanker.
Buy stock in mask companies.
Yes.
Don't.
Yes.
Buy stock in 3M.
Don't
my
buy a YouTube channel.
3M, Pfizer, you name it.
Yep.
Buy stocks.
Right.
My advice in a serious sense, other than monetary, is ignore Dawkins is an asshole. Ignore Krauss is a sex pest, and just skip over a lot of the new atheists because they either were, are, or going to be assholes.
I
don't mean to sound naive, but what
like whether you respect Lawrence Krauss or not.
Wait, one at a time.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
All right.
Well, I think you started first, Kate, and sort of everyone
all
jumping
right. Well, what I was saying was that even if you don't respect some of these people, they made some damn good points. I mean, I can't watch Lawrence Krauss's lecture about a universe from nothing and not be amazed. I mean, like, I'm an artist, but I never wanted to be a scientist more than after watching that talk. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, all this quantum mechanics shit. I had to watch it 6 times before I understood it at all. And I was just fucking blown away. So he may be a wank, but he made some damn good points.
Can I just be more clear in what was the intent? Because you are absolutely correct.
Right.
When you're talking about Dawkins, yes, believe him on evolutionary theory. Absolutely. There's very few out there that are more knowledgeable. Same with Krauss. even Hitchens, when he how to break down an argument and respond to it in a short and witty way, there are good points to all of them, but beyond their field of expertise, just forget them. Don't promote them. Don't.
I still hold a grudge against Hitchens for dying on my birthday, bastard.
Oh.
No, he did that. He did that on purpose. He left the note.
I tell you, someone who died on my birthday that I'll never forget now. Harold Shipman died on my birthday.
Who?
The most prolific serial killer in England ever.
Respected doctor.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Committed suicide on my birthday. Good for you, mate.
I don't know that name.
He was the most prolific serial killer in English history.
Oh, well, that'd be why.
He is believed to have killed about 2,500 people.
Hang on a minute.
Oh, is that all?
Mikey has just paid $4.99 to apologise.
Call you a wanker.
No. It's in my name. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you've embraced it. We get
he
that.
literally just paid to say
To
that.
apologise. He's a paid apologist.
Oh, right. Okay.
I actually about, because you said if you could speak to you 3 years ago. Me 3 years ago nearly went down the path of becoming an apologist.
Ooh.
See, I've just opened up this little subject.
And like there is nothing I could say to me 3 years ago that I would have listened to.
No, I'm exactly the same. I would have turned around to current me today and attacked current me today if I met me 3 years ago.
Yeah. Like I was as far as I was concerned, cishet Christian boy with an interest in defending Christianity. And now look at me, I'm a queer non-binary pagan with an interest in philosophy.
Right. So I'm using that as a launch pad, to talk about your man Milo Yiannopoulos.
Ooh, that fucker.
Now, how did he?
Why do we need to bring up this British?
I'll tell you for why. Because because we all sat there and just justified our own nonsense from years ago, and we're quick to jump on this twat.
But the problem with Milo Yiannopoulos, though, is that he knows full well what he's doing is nonsense.
How do you know that?
Because you can tell by the way that he holds himself, the way that
by
his body language.
People
can
tell by his
body language. Dogs don't bark at me anymore.
You can tell by the way that he is actually acting about what he's doing. He's going through the motions, and he knows exactly what he's doing.
The reason that I asked the question about ourselves is because we are quick to jump on people that we don't like, but other people that agree with us, again, confirmation bias, we go, oh yeah, they're all right.
No, I'd call people that I like wankers just as much as I'd call people that I don't like wankers.
The thing is, it's things that he said recently. He said recently. Now he is quote unquote ex-gay. The dogs have stopped barking at him.
Yeah,
this is a bullshit nonsense.
I still have a question about this guy, though. Where the frick did he come from? Like here in the US, I'm sitting there watching the news, and all of a sudden they're talking about this guy that I've never heard of before. Where did he come from?
He was Gamergate.
He was real popular at the right.
Oh, see, I didn't really pay any attention at all to Gamergate when it happened. All right.
He was really big at Trump's first election, right around 2016. He was really big back then.
He was.
From my perspective, it seemed to come out of nowhere. Is the thing.
This is the thing. This is evidence that banning people off social networks does have an impact. The fact that you've never even heard of him, although he was so large the first time round.
Yeah, he was huge.
Right.
He was huge back like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that he did that pushed himself away was when he started making comments about paedophilia, and that pushed a lot of the conservatives.
That fucked him right up.
When he started making paedophilia comments, and it was very much, oh, hang on a minute, and then all of his conservative friends dropped him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and now he's gone to the evangelicals.
The ex-gay movement. He's now part of the ex-gay movement.
Yeah.
So when he was basically shitting on gay people and all the rest of it, although he was gay, everyone loved him. Or the right side loved him, I should say. And that was just like what I think Stephen Molyneux, Stephen Anderson, people like that, they just say things for shock value to get them clicks. And
if I was going to do that, I'd be a stand-up comedian. Like on purpose.
Bionic Carlin.
Sure, why not?
Bionic Carlin. all right, you guys. Before we get carried away with all this again, what I want to do is I always have a little something that I do on the show, usually once or twice during the episode, called Round the Horn, where we ask a question. See, Kate's already rolling her eyes.
Oh, no. You don't see me. I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm nodding. I'm going, this,
Neil, I freshened my tea just for you. Just for you.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure why you had to do that, but okay.
Because, I need to do something special occasionally to make you feel welcome and included on, something interesting.
Neil, I reject your self-deprecation and substitute my own.
Although it's not Adam Savage.
It's not nearly as good. So,
By all means, you'll have Adam Savage on you if you're not careful, because he'll substitute his own reality for yours.
All right, so this is what I got.
Sorry, Neil, I want to live in Adam Savage's reality. Absolutely, every day.
Mm-hmm. Can I go now? Okay. So
I don't know. Can you?
I don't know. All right. How about I rephrase that question? May I, please?
No, it's your stream. You should go. I'm going now.
I could do anything. No, I'm just kidding.
You can use anyone at all.
Yes, this is true. So the round the heart question today was, what's a fun fact about you that nobody really knows, save maybe a few close friends?
Oof.
Where do you want to start?
Well, I always start with the guest of honor, which would be you, Phoebe. I know these are tough ones today.
Because there's a few things that I want to pick something that's quite nice. And not,
pick the most unique one of all of them. I didn't realize it was going to be that tough.
The most unique one of them all.
Well, would you like me to go while she's thinking?
Probably best to come back
I'm
to
not
me.
sure if I should tell everyone this sort of thing.
Well, that's entirely up to you. But if you want to think on it for a bit, Phoebe, I can go over to. I'd like to go in order, so you're going to have to wait there.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's probably what it is. I have stood for local election on more than one occasion. And I hold an unwanted record in my local council. I hold a record of polling the most number of votes for any candidate in a local election and losing.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Is that the one you want to use then?
Yes, I'm sticking with that one.
All right. All right, Sam, you're up next.
Okay. So, now here's one that's really weird and feels self-contradictory, but isn't. I am polyamorous and engage in multiple romantic relationships.
Okay.
But I am but I am completely aromantic.
Oh, that almost seems contradictory.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said it seems contradictory, but isn't.
So what I'm getting from that is that there are a lot of, please correct me if I'm wrong here, there are a lot of sexual relationships that you're in, but you're not in romantic relationships.
No, I'm actively currently engaged in multiple romantic relationships. It's the same way that as an asexual person, I still enjoy sex.
Oh, I'm with you. I misunderstood what you said. I didn't hear that first part.
Yeah. So I enjoy romance, but I don't experience romantic attraction.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
There should be a flag for that.
I always feel lucky if there's some sort of romance going on in my life.
There is.
Yeah, there's a flag for everything, and almost every flag has something you can add to it to add
Or take
nuance.
away from it.
Like I just changed my avatar right there. That's actually a demisexual lesbian flag.
There you go.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh,
that,
nice.
white
Mood.
skin and brown hair was demisexual.
Well, no, it's the
sorry
black
to be
chevron
ignorant.
there.
I'm
That
sorry
makes
to
it
be-
demi.
What
sorry
does
to be
demisexual mean?
Oh, there you go.
What does asexual mean?
No, demisexual.
Demisexual means
demisexual.
that you feel no sexual arousal without romance first. If you're not in love, you don't get turned on.
I would correct that
Okay.
without a strong emotional
Oh, wow.
connection first.
Well, okay, fair
'cause
enough.
I'm-
But my point is that I don't get aroused unless I'm in love. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair. I'm also demi, but being aromantic for me, it's just a strong emotional connection.
So is that like with sapiosexual? There needs to be a triggering of not mental. That's the wrong term.
Emotional?
No, it's to do with you got
Intellectual, yeah.
Yeah, you have to be intellectually stimulated to become sexually stimulated with sapiosexual. Is it similar, but with you need to have the romantic feelings first before you get the sexual?
It's that almost familial connection that's necessary before the engine starts turning.
Okay, learn something new. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Phoebe, you could have just said that to me on the stream. You didn't have to type it into the chat. But I
See,
appreciate
now I've
that.
got more attention on myself by saying that.
Oh, I see. Genius. I like you.
You see, if you do something outside the box and people go, hey, you didn't need to do that. I've just brought the spotlight back on myself. I've got my ego being polished a bit more.
I don't know. If
Placated
someone
a little
does
bit.
something outside the box, it better be with their tongue.
Whoa! Ding, 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 ding. All right.
Box clever.
Somebody said the
You need
word of
box
the day.
clever there.
Today's
Box
word
clever
of
with
the
that
day
one.
was tongue. All right. So anyway, all right, Sam. Thank you for that. Next up is Wayne.
Oh, me.
Yeah. What's a fun fact that nobody knows about you?
Oh, it's not a fun fact. It's a thing that I'm
Pretty dull fact by the sound
Sad
of it.
fact.
I'm proud of and ashamed of at the same time. I nearly killed my mum's husband by punching him in the face. Yeah.
You're going to have to explain that one.
he tried to throw
Is it
me
a
out of-
statute of limitations?
No, it's fine. It's done. He's got a plate in his head now. It's fine.
Is it a coronation plate?
Hold on. Do the fridge magnets fly off and hit him in the forehead all the time?
Getting on planes is fun. No.
Is it Royal
Midwest
Dolphin,
is all
Worcester?
planes.
Basically, where I live now was my mum's house, and she met this fella, then moved out. But then one particular time, I came home and I was locked out, and I was phoning my mum constantly. Mum, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Wasn't answering. And then she turned up to be home. I came in and I was having a row with my mum on the stairs. Like, well, where the fuck you been? I've been locked out for hours. Didn't get in until like 10:30. And then he's piped up, started fucking saying, oh, you can fuck off and all this bullshit. I went, oh, hold up, mate. This is my mum's house. Don't fucking start with me. Went up there, he's giving it all the big one to me. I'm like, all right, let's have a tear up, fine. And I've hit him, and he started crying. And I was like, oh, shit.
You big bully, Wayne.
He's like, I know your mum's kids hate me. I know all this. Carrying on like this. Anyway, so a week goes by, all blows over, and the following Friday, he's gone up the hospital because he's having nosebleeds. Turns out, where I hit him, I've cracked him from his pallet to his eye socket, and he had to have a plate put in his head.
Oh boy!
And
were it Royal Dalton?
So he had a zygomatic fracture then. So he had zygomatic fracture, fracture in the jaw, and he had a fracture in the eye socket.
It's gone like that.
Oh my goodness!
That's called a zygomatic fracture.
Okay, yeah, well,
that's right.
That and
common in car accidents as well.
New.
Yeah, and I was absolutely distraught because my mum was in bits. Because apparently the doctor turned around and said if he was hit with the same force again, he probably would have died. And I was like, "Oh, brilliant!"
Just think of
take a
plus
second
side.
But at the same time, I was like,
just think of it this way: on the plus side, at least he cried and stopped you.
"Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah." There was always that.
Yeah.
So that's,
Wayne.
I'm not proud of it.
Fair enough. But it was supposed to be a fun fact, not a fracture fact.
No,
You
you said things that people don't know about you.
Okay, all right. Well, now they do.
And to be honest with you, for the past 3 minutes, we've just ripped the piss out of Wayne, so we had fun.
Of course, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. So
Well,
come on, Pine Snake. What you got?
Okay, calm down, guys. All right.
Also,
About
Chat
about
on YouTube thinks
350
I'm
miles.
broadcasting from a sauna for some reason.
What's that again?
YouTube chat thinks I'm broadcasting from a sauna.
It does kind of look like that.
I was surprised I had a mini Starbucks refrigerator somewhere near me.
It's either that or True Talk North, whatever it's called. It's either that or from their studio.
It
By the
does
way,
look sort of sauna-esque, I have to admit. It's the boards. It's the
It's my super secret cabin so that nobody can trace my IP address because it's not actually where I live because I have received death threats and I don't really want people finding out where I live.
Gotcha. And by the way, Wayne, just you saw that little thing where Tons of Mice said Wayne's applying for a job with the Snow Gangsters. I can get you in through Randolph, of course. He's the leader of the Snow Gangsters.
Oh yeah, I'm double hard.
What are you from a Guy Ritchie movie all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm double hard, mate. Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
No, there's no Cockney rhyme playing yet. Without that, it's not a Guy Ritchie movie.
Down the side of mine, it's got Desert Eagle .50, which compares to yours, which has got replica written down the side of it.
Well, you know,
Right.
one neighbour's Danny Dyer, other one's Razor Ruddock.
Razor Ruddock once appeared on an episode of Can't Pay Will Take It Away.
Okay, I'm going to carry on here, guys, and we're going to go up to Hops Watch and see what he has to say. What's a fun fact that nobody knows about you, Hops?
Yeah, I
He doesn't like beer.
No, that's not the thing. No, actually,
it's not the greatest beer in the world.
I am allergic to cats and dogs, which means I can't have them. And I'm also an asthmatic. I have, however, been asymptomatic for the last 2 decades or so.
Wow.
But when my asthma was initially measured, it was back when I was living with my parents, and we had a cat, and I refused that we should get rid of it just because I had allergies. So I managed by not having the cat ever in my room and stuff like that, and I got by. But my asthma was slightly influenced by having a cat in the house.
Oh, sure.
So when it was initially measured that I was an asthmatic, I had to fill out this little form, putting in a sort of a schedule how my breathing capabilities were varying over time, and. This is another fun fact about Denmark that you may not know, but we still have a draft system. All young men, of course, only men, have to do a military service, or rather, we are all we're kind of drawn out in a lottery style sort of way, whether we have to do military service or not. But of course, if you're not fit for being a soldier, you will be discarded, basically. but you will be going to a test where they will examine you, where you will undergo medical exams and also intelligence exams, all that. It's called the session in Danish. However, when I was called to the session, I informed them, well, I've got an asthma diagnosis, and then they checked my medical records, sent me a letter. Back in those days, it was still all on paper, telling that I didn't even have to go to the session. They could see that I was way too sick to ever be in the military. However, when I left home, that was when I started being completely asymptomatic from the asthma, and I have basically been ever since. So I dodged military service because my parents had a cat.
Do you regret dodging Danish military service because your parents had a cat?
No. I tell you, I was singing and dancing when I got that letter from
that cat.
them. And I hugged the cat.
Can I just say something? Because we're dictated to by a lot of American influence and that, and they say the land of the free and the home of the brave.
No, home of the bureaucrat.
No, the land of the free. You're subject to a military draft.
Selective service, actually.
Freedom is an illusion, folks.
Well,
they still have selective service.
Depending on who you ask to define it.
Yeah, well, we're not. By the way,
do you still have to sign up for the draft at 18 in America? I can't remember. I did, but that was 20-some years ago.
If you are a male in America and you are between the ages of 18 and 26, and this includes trans women, you are required under US federal law to sign up with the selective service system, or you will be denied federal grants and federal access to federal programs.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I didn't know. It's been a long time since I've been
just do it for you automatically. You know,
because that would be efficient, and that would be America.
Well,
but as I said, America, land of the free.
Then it wouldn't be freedom.
Home of the
yourself, it wouldn't be freedom.
Kate, you've been to the DMV.
Yeah, but I've
been to the post office. I've been to the US.
They ain't got 10 lines like this. Look at this.
I had to get an updated license recently because, I'm finally legally able to drive and thinking about getting a vehicle. For those who don't know, I used to have seizures. And so I had to go to the DMV in the middle of the plague, and it actually was the least painful DMV experience I've ever had because I was able to do it by appointment.
What money are you using? That sounds lovely.
Talking about painful
what does
and
DMV
cars.
stand for?
The Department of
Motor Vehicle.
Just something that reminded me about painful and cats. Is your cat still attacking you, Kate?
When was my cat attacking me?
Last year. You had to try and find something, and yeah, I've just been in and out.
Oh,
you said you had to get something.
Wow.
Hold on.
I'm so lost. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm gonna do this.
Oh no, we're attacking each other, maybe.
Oh yeah, well, okay, yes. Both cats were not fans of each other. They're still not, but they can be in the same room without it turning into a death match.
Okay,
that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. I switched up Jeff and Kate so that because Jeff has to take off, so we'll get his answer to the question.
That's all right. I'm still thinking of what to say.
Well, my random fact was that I have to jump off the stream now, but no.
We didn't know that.
Yeah, I can't honestly. I really can't honestly think, to be honest.
Okay, that's
Jeff. Where in the country are you?
Southampton.
Oh, okay. Like Hampshire way, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, down south. Right. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to jump off because I've had quite a long day. I'm just done in. So.
Okay. All right.
All right. I'll see you later.
Well, thanks for coming in, man. It's good to have you in.
All right. Yep. Cool. Bye.
Bye, Jeff.
Cheers.
All right. Well, do you want some more time, Kate? Or
No, the thing is that like most of what I could say that nobody knows is stuff people really should keep on not knowing. There's stuff I could say that is
we've got your web history
known by very few people, if that's good enough.
Sure.
Right.
See, what this really means is, what's a fun fact about you that obviously, if you grew up with people in your life, people are going to know these facts about you. So, but a majority of the people in your life may not. So,
all right.
Something like that.
Sure. You know how I'm always going on about how Shatner's evil and all of that?
Yeah.
It started as a prank.
Oh,
a lot of people think that I'm also angry or hate Shatner, but the narrative has always been that he's a force of evil that must be stopped before he destroys us all. You see, and how people didn't realize that was a joke knocks me out.
Yeah. I don't know how people could see that.
Maybe they thought you really hated William Shatner.
No,
are we talking about Bill Shatner?
It's not about hate.
Yeah.
It's not about hate. It's about taking the piss out of him, is what it is.
I get you. I'm just saying maybe they misunderstood.
What's the matter, Wayne?
No,
James Tiberius Kirk is a fucking legend.
Yeah, well, we've also got him played by Chris Pine, so there's that.
Unless he's got Cosby level bullshit going on, I don't want to know.
Go all through my videos. You will find people going, "What do you have against Captain Kirk?" I said, "I didn't say Kirk. I said Shatner," and I stand by that. This is about Shatner, not Kirk.
The thing is about Shatner, sometimes he's got a really good take on something, and you've got to applaud him. And then the immediate tweet afterwards is a complete ass shot again.
Oh, he is such a schmuck. Like I don't know anyone who's met him in person that didn't think he was a schmuck. I'm just saying.
Just check out on Twitter, Wayne, and you'll know what we mean. I mean, we know Twitter's a dumpster fire to begin with, but some of them are really good, some of them are really bad.
But anyway, that's my fact about me, is that the Shatner conspiracy theory is completely an affectation. Never meant it ever once.
My personal take on the OG Trek series is Shatner is going to be outlived by oh my.
Well, I will say this about that though. William Shatner, I am absolutely sincere when I say I'm not a fan of Quebec. And guess who's from Quebec?
Shatner.
There you go. But it's mostly just like I can't stand the sound of spoken French. I really can't. There's something about it that just
there's a difference between French and Quebecois.
And yet, I don't like either one. There's something about the way it's spoken through the nose and you have to gargle phlegm that just does not appeal.
Nichelle Nicholas is still alive, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you heard Switzerdeutsch?
So it's like it's a three-way, isn't it?
I don't know. That's something you'll have to ask them.
No. Who's gonna die first? You got Shatner, Nicholas, and
George Takei.
George Takei and Walter.
Walter Koenig is still around.
Yeah, Koenig is still around too. Yep. Yeah. Chekhov is still around.
In fact, I think he's the youngest of all of them.
He is.
Yes, he was a baby when he started on Star Trek.
No.
Yeah. That's why in the prequels they've said he's like 16 or 17 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully we'll outlive them all.
It seemed way too young when they cast Anton, what's his face, whose last name I can't pronounce and is unfortunately very dead.
Anton Yeltsin?
Yeah, him.
Yeah, that was a freak fucking accident too.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't his own car run him over or something?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he had the door was open. The emergency brake wasn't on, and it started rolling, and it caught him between the vehicle and a pillar, and just crushed him.
Oh, shit! That's got to be a terrible way to go.
Oh,
he was probably alive for quite a while after impact, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
One surprise.
Yeah, I can't imagine it was going very fast. I mean, if it just started rolling.
That's like my worst fear is slowly dying by being an immense amount of pain, like being crushed to death or something.
Fed feet, fed feet first into a wood chipper.
Yeah, no thanks. Why? Feet first, why? So they could look at the expression on my face? Like, what the fuck?
Neil, I've got a worse way to go. Slow death by podcast.
Depends on the podcaster.
What are you trying to say, Wayne?
Like your fridge, like slowly falls down on you. We'll let it go. Stop! No, stop!
Oh, frig! Oh gosh, that is not what I thought you said. Okay, never mind. I thought you said podcaster.
No. Your fridge falls down on you, but we can't get there. We're miles away. We're slowly watching you die on stream.
Oh, I see. I got you. Oh. I have an armoire right here that was literally made in probably 1964, and it's real wood and heavy.
That's convenient.
It's right here, and it could easily tip on me one of these days.
I live in Southern California. My shelves are all bolted to the walls.
That's a good point. You know what? We share that fault line, Kate. By the way, because up here in Vancouver, we're along.
No, actually, San Diego, if the San Andreas goes, San Diego will feel it, but it won't hurt us that much. We're actually outside of the danger area of the San Andreas. Now, if the San Andreas sets off something else, we might, end up taking it in
the back. Offshoot all over it. So
how about forest fires around where you are?
Here we have them in the Okanagan.
We had wildfires last year, but I actually went into Google Earth VR to see how far away they were, and it was like, oh yeah, that shit's not getting over here.
Yeah, we had them in Kelowna here for a couple of years. They had some big ass
Hi, Kelowna.
I had the...
Okay, one of you can...
I think Sam.
Go ahead, Sam.
So I had the bizarre experience the other day of having a conversation with someone from Oklahoma, and the confusion on her face when she found out that we don't have like a thing from the government on our phones that just gives us notifications about the weather.
That's because all British people ever talk about is the fucking weather. We give it to the government.
It's not only that, we have Windows.
Well,
yeah, we also don't have weather that's trying to murder us.
Well, that's part of it. I mean,
I've got that is our government.
Hurricane warnings and stuff like that on my phones, and it's good to know because like those things can come on kind of suddenly or from directions my windows don't point.
Yeah, the thing is, the difference between America and the UK is, in America you've got a government giving you warning. Well, that's another one. But you've got American government warning you about things that's trying to kill you. Whereas over here, it's the government that's trying to kill us, so they don't need to warn us.
Well, the government's trying to kill us here, too.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
I shouldn't say that so indignantly, actually.
I mean, the government's trying to kill us.
Our government hates us, too.
Excuse me. Come on, folks. Latin. Everything's okay. Carry on. We're all right. Britain. Yeah.
Lovely new blue passports.
Don't forget to say the sky's green or some fucking old bullshit lie.
No. The sky is blue because if it was green, we wouldn't know where to stop mowing.
As long as you say folks, you're okay. Folks and something Latin, you're done.
Okay, sure.
Carpe diem.
That's my go-to suffix now. Like instead of trans people, trans women, whatever, I'll say trans folks.
Yeah. Exactly that.
If you try and use something as inclusive as that, Boris Johnson would fucking flip a nut.
I mean, all you got to do is use both palms. This is Boris Johnson, right? Both palms like this, and then just go like that. It's fine. That's it.
He's cultivated that kind of thick fucking play he puts on, hasn't he?
That's actually a good. I've got a question for Mole. Sorry. How do you get Boris Johnson's hair onto that avatar?
I don't know. Someone sent me that line, and I'm like, oh man, I got to use that as an avatar. It's pretty fucking hilarious. It does look like his hair, though, doesn't it? I never thought about that.
Is it
Lama Johnson?
I am assured that Boris
Lava
Johnson is really bad. But relatively speaking, this feels normal to me because the first Prime Minister I remember is Prime Minister Pig Dick.
You're gonna have to know which one.
David Cameron.
You don't remember? You're 19 and you don't remember Tony Blair.
No, Brown maybe.
Well, I was around for Jimmy Carter, and I don't remember him.
Yeah, true.
Fair enough. I don't
Maggie
know that,
Thatcher
but I
back
do
then.
remember Reagan.
I remember Thatcher. I was born in
Thatcher,
'84,
yeah.
so obviously Thatcher up until the early '90s, the major. Blair, Brown, Cameron, May, and this Dick Waddle.
Right.
Speaking of which,
I actually do believe all the ones that we've had, this is the worst one that we've had in my lifetime. Although Thatcher was bad, she did have some good things, which me and Wayne have discussed before.
Yeah.
There was huge problems with what
she
Thatcher
wasn't
did.
insane.
no,
She didn't intentionally try and kill half the population by inaction.
yep, true enough.
No,
She would have been all over it.
She didn't fuck us up for financial futures. She was very short-termism when it came to her policies.
John Major's probably the best prime minister we've had.
Whoa!
Okay, Blair got us into two never-ending wars.
No, I say that as in I've never heard that said.
Just taking it as a whole.
Could you just call him the least bad?
Is there a steakhouse in Britain somewhere called like Prime Rib Minister?
No.
Yes, there is actually a steakhouse that has prime ribs, and they're all named after prime ministers.
Minister. Is it Prime Minister, but Prime Rib? Never. I'll just go.
Tony Blair was basically trans version of Maggie Thatcher.
Right.
Straight up.
Okay. He was bad. He
was shit.
was only short.
He was shit.
He was only short term again, but in the short term, he had huge gains. It's like the economy bounced back. However, it then immediately crashed. So it's all short term.
It bounced back from an immediate crash.
Guys, we've gotten away from the question here.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh shit, yeah.
We hijacked your show.
Question though about Boris Johnson, because if your PM got vaccinated, I hope it was with Johnson and Johnson, so you could have Johnson getting Johnson and Johnson.
Johnson
and Johnson is a one-shot vaccine.
Yeah.
So he didn't.
That's
okay, but it was a joke about his name.
Yeah.
Okay, seriously, I'll just go.
I love that. Guys, I have to jump out as well. It's getting late. Got kids, so I got to get up in the morning and take care of them and all that. So
just sell them to a circus.
So it's 11:30 now, so it's 12:30 Central European time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. No, it's not. It's actually half. It's 12:30. Yeah, you reverse that compared to what I usually say. Anyway, cheers everyone, and always remember to drink responsibly. Until next time.
Never.
Okay.
Have your pets spayed and neutered.
Right.
Hops, great having you hang out again, man. I missed you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Neil. See you around, everyone. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Take care.
That's going to make everything go screwy again. See, I knew it. So let's do this because it's your turn for the question, Pine Snake.
Yeah, and I'm going to get some huge pushback and probably hate from a couple of the space-based sci-fi.
Oh, dearie me.
Stargate is the best franchise.
That's one of them. For sure.
And now it's a rumble.
Now, I will clarify this. The moral and ethical storylines that they portrayed were much more in your face of don't be a misogynist, don't be this, don't be that. This is what creates a good society. Mm-hmm. There's one particular example that comes straight to mind about misogyny. It's set on another planet, and it's basically the Mongols, their lineage, and they're heavily male orientated to the point that if a woman isn't spoken to, they aren't allowed to speak. All this kind of stuff going on, and then Sam Carter is basically the lead protagonist in this episode, and she shows no, women aren't just weak, they aren't just feeble. They can do anything a man can do, and she eventually kicks the shit out of this male antagonist.
Right.
And no, it's the actual villagers, the leader of these what would be the Khan suppositor, like the Kublai of this society.
Mm-hmm.
And she kicks the fuck out of him and shows to save his life, which according to their culture, it now belongs to her. And she says, right, what I'm going to say is you get rid of this law, this law, this law, and you can have your life back and you can carry on as you were. And I think with storylines like that, whereas Star Trek was much more veiled and discreet in the way it give the criticism, Stargate was much more in your face, and it helped me shed some of the awful views I had, because it was so much in your face.
Depends which iteration of Trek, though.
I'm thinking more Next Generation.
Fair enough.
I always found the originals a little bit too misogynistic, which for the time you can argue it's not. Well, for the time it was actually quite progressive because they had lead female characters.
Yeah, because he kissed a green bird.
No, I'm thinking
people of color on there. Yeah.
Lieutenant Uhura, the actress, I forget her name, was actually encouraged to stay.
Michelle Nichols.
Oh, Michelle.
Yeah, she was encouraged to stay after speaking with, I think it was Martin Luther King. It says, no, you need to stay. Young black women need to see a lead black woman in TV. I think, yes, that was a good thing, but that was off screen. And it was more implied rather than in your face. Look, we are being progressive. We are not going to be segregationists and all the rest of it.
And George Takei, also a Japanese guy, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my!
And it wasn't for another three. It wasn't for another 3 decades that he came out as gay as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Have you watched The Orville?
No,
not in a long time. So
I've seen a few of the first episodes of the first season.
The reason I bring it up is that, it started out as kind of a Trek satire parody kind of thing, and there were a lot of like poop and fart jokes, obviously. But Seth MacFarlane really wanted to make actual Star Trek. He just didn't think anyone would take him seriously after like Family Guy and all of that stuff, right? But as it progressed, I'd say about the middle of season 1, they sort of ditched the pretense and just made MacFarlane Trek. And it deals with a lot of really, really interesting and relevant issues.
Oh, yeah.
Now, see, I still have that. I still have that on my to watch list from that one time you recommended that to me on Twitter, Kate.
It's a great show.
I say get on it, because you will probably like it if you like sci-fi at all. At first, you'll watch it to laugh, but after a while, you'll watch it because you really want to see what happens next.
There's only been what, 2, 3 seasons?
What?
How many seasons have there been?
2 or 3 right now, but allegedly there's a 3rd coming, and it'll be on Hulu when it does.
Yeah, I think as it progresses, I could possibly agree with you. The reason why I say Stargate is because of SG1. There's 10 seasons. Plus 3 made-for-TV movies, plus the original movie. Stargate Atlantis, there's 5 seasons, and Stargate Universe, there's 2 seasons. So there's plenty to be gathered from with the moral, philosophical, and even theological arguments.
I'm
currently working for B5.
What's that?
I'm ready to push back because I am really about this. I love SG1. I fucking loved it. But The main female protagonist was a short, blonde-haired female.
She's not that short, you know. I've met her in real life.
She's nearly 6 foot. And do you know what?
No.
Do you know what her first lines were in Stargate SG-1?
No.
Amongst the first lines was, "Do you think I'm any less just because my reproductive organs are on the inside of my body and not the outside?"
Yeah, but she was always portrayed as the short female protagonist with short blonde hair. Every other female in that show was always behind Daniel Jackson and Jack. What's his fucking name?
Jack O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone.
However, the thing is, she wasn't the only one with short hair. For example, Dr. Fraser, she also had short hair.
Yeah.
She was taller than Daniel Jackson. She was the one that was often responsible for keeping Daniel Jackson alive. She was the one that was, yes, she's very smart. She's the scientist, but she was also very capable in a military sense. She could carry the same load as any of the others, apart from Tilk. But because he was Jafar, he had the extra power and the strength. So she was Jack O'Neill, but intelligent.
Yeah, but who was the Jafar?
Teal'c.
Portrayed as?
Teal'c.
He was basically SG Worf, is what he was.
Steve Worf.
I'd go more Chewy, but okay.
Okay. Amanda Tapping, who plays Samantha Carter, and I are almost, but not quite exactly the same height. And I'm as tall as Xena. So.
All right. Okay.
If you'd like, I do have a picture of Kate and I standing beside each other. So if you want to see the difference, then you'll figure out, because I'm almost 6'4". So.
I was under
You're almost
6'4".
You climbing.
I'm almost there. Okay, I'm trying to eat better food and get up there. One of these.
Me and you the same height. I'm 6'3".
What confuses me though is why does the length of her hair matter?
I'll tell you for why. Because of the masculinity that's imposed upon the character.
Really?
That would be military.
I mean, speaking purely as a lesbian here, short hair on women is hot. It's got nothing to do with being masculine. I'm sorry, like a pixie cut or a bob or any of those. Oh my gosh,
Right.
I love.
I have a montage of women with short hair that are so fucking lickable. You remember Cass on Voyager? Oh my gosh, Cass!
Cass on Voyager. She was fit especially when she was blowing up Voyager. When she came back, walking through, like blowing up decks, that was fit. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to powerful women in sci-fi, they have to have long hair.
Why?
Why?
Okay, look at Claudia Black. When Claudia Black was introduced to,
I was just going to bring her up too, by the way.
Thank you. When Claudia Black was introduced, she was very sexualized. Very sexualized.
Have you seen her in Future? Have you seen her in
what was the name of the show? What was the name of the show?
Farscape.
Farscape, yeah.
Yeah.
She was very sexualized, and
I don't think
her.
She was an ass kicker.
Yeah, she was very military. I mean,
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, not attracted in the least. So there's that too.
Yeah, she was massively in Stargate. She was massively sexualized.
Well, what about Tasha Yar?
Played a different character there.
What about Tasha Yar? She was very strong, but she was also sexual and beautiful.
And then binned and replaced by Wolf.
Well, that was actually the actress's choice. She wanted off the show.
Yeah, and when she was reintroduced later on as
the Romulan.
Well, Tasha Yar's daughter. She still had the short hair and all the rest of it.
Well,
fair enough. That's a Romulan
thing.
thing. Yeah. She was still sexy and strong, is what I'm saying.
When she
Now,
came back, it was
I
because
have
they
tried
gave her character
to
more depth.
say 5 times now, I'm going to go now because I'm feeling very much sensory overload and very irritable. Good night.
Good night,
Later,
sir.
have fun.
Oh, mate.
I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I mean, there are sexy women with long hair. There's dowdy women with long hair, and the same with every other length of hair. I'm not seeing it.
Well, there's another interesting, well, not interesting, a point that I'd like to bring up about this is when you've got Jerry Ryan as 7 of 9. To all intents and purposes, it looks short hair, but what she can take it down and it's long. Where does that fit into how you perceive it?
Okay, I would then go Jadzia Dax and are you Bajoran?
Kira
Nerys.
Yeah.
Kira Nerys.
But the thing is,
one is authoritarian, the other is a tactician.
But this is the thing, when you've got 7 of 9, she has the ability to be both, either short or long hair, depending how the style is. But in either instance, she is authoritarian. She's got the authority there, and she has the sex appeal there as well, whether it's intended or not. I think history shows that the sex appeal and the authority was there no matter what. So she had short looking hair when she was business and still looking sexual, but then when she was dressed down in the holodeck, she had her hair down, still looked authoritative.
I'm merely pointing out the inconsistencies. I am not responsible for those inconsistencies.
I'm disputing that it's an inconsistency in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I'm maybe with Kate here, because going back to Sam Carter, I still think even when she had the short hair, she was still a sexy woman, but she still had the authority there. Even in the middle seasons, I think it's 6 and 7, she had longer hair.
Name me one short-haired protagonist in Stargate. Any time, because all the long-haired ones were either
Elizabeth Weir.
I'm going to jump back in here. I have never seen an episode of Stargate. I have never seen an episode of Star Trek, and I have no idea what's been talked about for this entire conversation.
No, because even like the Wraith women were long-haired.
You only saw very few of them.
Exactly.
Most of them were men, because it was only the queens of the hives. And I think in entire 5 seasons, you only see 4.
Yeah.
And
you do.
the Wraith in general, even the foot soldiers have long hair. In fact, they look like Neil. Just making sure you're listening.
Sci-fi shows.
Yeah, I'm.
Yes.
My scheduled guest for Tuesday's show's father just passed away, so she's asking. She's asking to reschedule, so I'm just going over that with her right now.
Okay. Let's ignore that. And
So when we were talking about the Tasha Yar's daughter, she's Romulan. That's why she's got the short hair, as Kate pointed out. With the Wraith, it is standard that they have long hair. There's only Michael who has short hair.
Yeah.
So you can't exactly take the Wraith, women or men, into consideration in that one. But Elizabeth Weir has relatively short hair. She is a strong, independent woman. And you can make the argument that she is a beautiful woman as well.
Yeah.
Well, I've got another example for you.
Here we go.
Kelly Grayson from the Orville. I mean, she's got she's got long hair.
I'm not even talking about.
Neil.
Yes,
Neil,
I'm here.
Share.
Oh, yes.
Commander Kelly Grayson from the Orville.
Don't know.
Long hair, and she's badass, and she's sexy.
Oh yeah. Same with She's no longer with them. They replaced her with someone else.
Oh, right, Alana Katan. Yeah, actually, I like the replacement better because she can act. Where the other actress, like,
well, I didn't have a problem.
There were a couple of times, like I want to say episode 2 or 3, where when she delivered her lines, it sounded like someone in a high school play. It was terrible.
Okay.
In fact, now we're talking about badass women with long hair. Taylor, again from Atlantis, she was in it for the entire 5 seasons. She is badass. And when she's in them leather pants and stuff, she's got a nice ass and everything.
Can't believe no one's mentioned Susan Ivanova.
Introduced as a badass woman. There was no like build up at all.
Yes, there was.
Take Ivanova then from Babylon 5.
I was just going to say, Babylon 5 hasn't even been brought up.
She has a history. She has a personality.
Billy Mummy was in Babylon 5.
What?
Billy Mummy was in Babylon 5.
So? What's that got to do with it?
He was in Lost in Space.
What's that got to do with it?
Yeah.
That had very many...
Also, Walter Koenig was in there, too. He was on Star Trek, so what?
Yeah, and it had a lot of, like, famous sci-fi people all over.
You know why? Because they loved the show and wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But seriously, like, Ivanova, I mean, you know, she had her vulnerable side. She had her badass side.
Awesome.
She had a very, like, well-developed personality as a female character. And she was likable, which helps.
I am very much up for being educated if I've got shit wrong. So please.
I was just going to say the same about the person that Kate's on about. Taylor also in the first few episodes, it was set up that she was the matriarch of the village, and she mothered the people. She mothered everyone. That's how it was. So she was introduced not as a badass, but as a mother figure. She turned into the badass when people started attacking a village, well, the Wraith did, to go find the people. So I think that argument is a little bit on soft footing with it.
Oh, you gone?
What happened?
You just ended.
No, I just muted it because something was going on behind me. So yeah, Taylor did have this character arc very early on where it wasn't straight in as a badass. So, yeah. And long hair, as I said, authoritative. She kicked ass of everyone. It wasn't until Ronan came on that she even got anyone close to being her match.
Hold on, you still talking about Tila?
Taylor, yeah.
Okay.
And also the Orville has some great stuff about feminism as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just say 2 words: Dolly Parton. I don't know if anyone's seen that episode, but you'll know why I bring it up when you do.
I haven't, but I have heard it's actually feminist affirming.
Oh, very.
Oh, yeah.
Very. They deal with all kinds of stuff about like sex and gender and all stuff. Like one of the first episodes deals with trans stuff.
Yep.
People keep mentioning authoritative characters. There's Sergeant Callahan from Police Academy was pretty authoritative.
Oh, yeah.
Sci-fi.
Would specifically sci-fi, but it is actually a good shout. Surprisingly, for if we were going to expand it, there's a few others. I'm trying to think what it's called. There's one with Lucy Liu in it, some sort of crime fighting thing.
Oh, you're talking about the Sherlock Holmes thing?
It could be, yeah.
Where she plays Watson?
That's right, yeah. She's, again, very, what's the word?
She's awesome anyway, so. Yeah,
right.
She's great.
I'm going to bed because I've got to look after my children in the morning.
Okay, wait. But dude, it was great having you in, man. It was awesome. And we got to set up where you can come on and we can talk for an interview.
No, thank you. I appreciate the invite. And Yeah, I'm glad I can get the bin over in this show. But yeah, seriously, fuck's sake.
Well, let folks know where they can find your show.
Give me a bit more fucking notice.
Yeah, I had a cancellation, so I thought I'd give you a try. That's what that was.
Oh, thanks. Oh, I'm a cancellation. Oh,
well, I would say,
I'm never coming back to this now. I'm a cancellation.
No. Somebody else canceled, and I said, "Well, who do I want to have on? Well, I want Wayne on here. I want so and so." So I tried you first. So,
wow,
that should say something.
Wow.
He's not taking you seriously.
I guess not.
I guess not. It's been emotional.
I don't know how to take that, but thank you.
I don't know. Are you quoting the end of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, or did you mean it?
Yeah, just cuddle the hand grenade I just gave you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Kaboom!
Wait, is the pin still in it?
Fucking boom!
We'll talk, Wayne. We'll talk.
Love you, fella.
Party
Too
on,
sweet.
Wayne.
See you later.
Bye bye.
See you later.
Cheers. What a character. Okay, he's gone. Let's talk about him. No, I'm kidding.
Now, you don't know how long I was holding him back a Wayne's World joke the entire time. I'm sure he's heard them all, so I figured,
No idea.
Wait till after he's
I have
gone.
no idea what happened for the last half an hour. That whole conversation just went.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Imagine how lucky you are still having all of those experiences ahead of you. I would love to watch Babylon 5 for the first time again.
I know, me too.
You're assuming
Such a
I'm
good
never going
show.
to watch Babylon 5.
Sorry, say that again?
I said, you're assuming I'm ever going to watch Babylon 5.
Well, you should. You really ought.
If you like
It's a lot of
science
fun.
fiction, it's great. The first season moves really slowly, but after that it picks up and it's
And it
really,
lays
really
so much groundwork. Like, you can't just skip
good. Oh
it.
yeah, that's right. Because that's where all the character development happens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably
really
it's probably the one and only sci-fi thing where you need to know the character arcs before you watch it. Everything else you can generally watch it as a one-off and pick it up-ish. For example, Star Trek Next Generation, you can see that Riker is the forward kind of character, and Worf is obviously the one that's up for a fight at any times. Data is an android, so he's going to be the analytical one. You can figure it out pretty easily, whereas Babylon 5 is not quite so easy.
Yeah, you need to know. You need to know stuff.
So this is one of those things you start at the pilot and you work all the way through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, Babylon 5 really was the show that started this rash of shows with plot arcs that we have now. Like, it used to be that they all, the executive, the stations really, the TV stations would say to the studios, you need to make something that we can rerun in any order at any time. Because that's how we're going to make our money, is like
that's syndication.
the franchise, right? And syndication, all that. But then Babylon 5 comes along and does a 5-year plot arc, and people were blown the hell away. And the next thing you know, it becomes the standard.
Yeah, I was just thinking that Next Generation, the first couple of seasons, you could just pick one out of random and watch that one, and it won't make any difference to the season.
No. I think you still have to watch episode 1 first, and then you can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, fine.
Because that's the introductory one, right? So.
Data, learning how to whistle, all that. It's pretty important.
But did you ever notice how rarely they actually boldly go on that show? Like, it seems like every episode there's some crew drama or the holodeck malfunctions, but they didn't land on a planet and meet a new civilization like they're supposed to.
Well, that's because the first someone died.
But they did less than the original series. I agree with that.
I did say it was rare, not never.
I just watched the episode where they were introduced to the Ferengi, which was fucking awesome.
And they got ripped off. Yeah, but
well, sort of. They won
yeah.
in the end. I mean, I just started from the beginning. I'm watching Next Generation on Netflix right now, so I'm on episode 4, which is where they meet the Ferengi.
I think I have the whole series on VHS. Sorry.
The extreme close-up to hide the fact that they're tiny.
yeah. There's and Armin Shimmerman was one of the Ferengi too on that first episode.
Yeah.
Later we know as Quark, right? So
well, that's in DS9 that is explained how he went from having ship and prospects to being just stuck on DS9.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Which I thought were interesting.
But he didn't play Quark in that episode though.
No, that's what got me. But it seems to align with the story that they set up in DS9 of how he left. Seems to be that same Ferengi. So maybe he's changed the name or whatever. I don't know.
Well, Quark, I mean, we all know that though he's a Ferengi at heart, he doesn't dress with the headgear stuff and shit like that. He's against all that shit because he finds it too castish or whatever in Ferengi or on Ferenginar. My favorite thing about Ferengis is the fact that they have, what is it? 114 different words for rain.
Sounds like
something like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Right now it's glimmering outside.
I have a lot of respect for a sci-fi series when the name of the like sentient species that makes it off the planet is not either a derivative of, nor does their homeworld derive its name from theirs. You know, where it's like we're humans from Earth, granted, maybe Earthlings, Earthers, whatever. But the point is that you know, we're not necessarily named after the planet, nor the planet after us. But every planet's like, oh yeah, Vulcans are from Vulcan, Romulans are from Romulus, Ferengi are from Ferengi. You know, at least the Klingons are from what the hell's it called? Because it's not Kling or anything.
No, it's not Kling. Kronos.
Thank you.
Kronos, yes.
Yes, so at least the Klingons are a rare exception, but it seems like in sci-fi, you're always named after your homeworld.
It seems to be, yeah. We are human, I guess is what they generally call people on Star Trek, but I've heard them refer to Earth people as Earthlings as well.
That's actually something I'm doing in my own sci-fi animation. The Quinn Redshift is humans are always referred to as Earthlings and not by any other term, specifically to give it that retro feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and it's only just struck me, but in Stargate, everywhere outside of Earth calls Earth people from Earth the Tauri.
Yeah.
So they don't use Earthlings. They don't say humans. Well, sometimes they say humans, but it's usually the Tauri.
Mm-hmm.
Because humans are spread out across the entire galaxy. So to identify which humans they're talking about, they say, oh, the Tauri. It's just never struck me. And yeah, good point.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Theo. That was good.
Yeah, I love when the flat earthers start talking about just how many other flat earthers there are around the globe.
Yeah, that always cracked me up too. Like, okay, pal, say that slowly.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. We've been going for over a couple hours now, and being though it's Saturday and I could really use, a relaxation time, I do have some shit I have to do.
Oh.
And I have to go up and deal with my mom. They've moved her from the UBC to the North Van, and I don't know why. So I'm going to go find out.
What is
that's why?
mean?
Well, my mom's been in the hospital for 2.5 months.
UBC and the whatcha thing?
Oh, UBC is University of British Columbia, and they have a hospital there. And North Vancouver is, North Vancouver. So.
Okay.
And there's for some reason they put her in that hospital, and I don't know why. And I'm going to be talking to my sister, and I'm going to go be seeing her, and we're going to figure because I don't know what's going on. It's like they've given up on her or something. I don't know.
I think there may be more vacancies in North Van, because I remember there was an outbreak a while ago, and so there's been some issues there. Perhaps maybe they're doing it to kind of manage.
Lots of room at UBC, man. I walked through there. And every room only had one or two people in there of rooms that are capable of 3 to 4. Yeah.
Well, then that's not it. Okay. Huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is curious. Why the extra movement? It's further away from you that way then too.
I don't think that
maybe to relieve stress off the staff.
No, because it's not that busy over there. Like I said, my mom's in a room where 4 people could be. There's only 2 in there, and all the other rooms only had like a couple of people for a 4-person room.
That's right. The few times I've had to be hospitalized, like when they did the brain surgery to stop the seizures, that kind of thing, they always gave me a private room. I never had a roomie.
That's good. That's good.
I didn't ask for one. This is not a luxury thing. They just did it.
The problem.
Isolation room. Because last time I was in hospital, I was in an isolation room because I had stage 2 sepsis.
Ooh, that's what my mom went through.
I was told I was 8 hours away from being on the path, not being able to come back.
Yep.
As awful as that sounds, I think with Kate's scenario, it's just everybody else in the hospital was atheist and they watched her channel. And it's like, no, we'll keep you away.
Yeah, right. Damn atheists.
We're entitled to an entirely theistic hospital room. I don't know.
By the Gideons for you.
Fuck the Gideons. They keep leaving their fucking books in the hotels.
Well, last year I was in and out of hotels with work, and the first thing I'd do, I'd put my bag down on the thing, and I'd open the drawer, find the Gideon Bible, and straight in fucking bin. Piss me right off.
It's like the who is it? Do you remember the name of the hotel? Was it the Marriott or whatever? The Best Western? I forget. When we went to Faithless Forum, and instead of the Gideon's Bible,
Marriott.
Right? They have the Book of Mormon because they're all Mormons.
That's right. I remember that.
That's kind of crazy.
I kind of wanted to steal it, but I was like, nah.
I have 2 Bibles. They're mostly props, although I do sometimes look up stuff in them if I need to school someone.
Yeah, reference purposes. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But I don't have a Book of Mormon.
I don't either.
I
don't think I do. And it's weird. I might not have a Book of Mormon, but I have this one instead for some fucking reason. The Arancha book.
What the hell's that?
That's if religion met Star Trek. That's what this is.
Oh, so it's Scientology.
Star Trek would win.
It's Scientology then.
Fairly, it's but it doesn't. There's nothing about it. It talks about the people of light. It talks about Jesus is actually a spaceman. It's all kinds of shit. It was written in 1952 by some dude in New York, and I just fucking laughed and had to have a copy.
The last hotel I went to, it was just like a guest house more, and on this bookshelf, on top shelf, it had about 30 religious books. It had various versions of the Bible. It had Book of Mormon. It had the Torah kind of thing. It had
Torah thing.
There were a few Jewish texts, and I can't remember what they were.
There's a few.
There were the Hindu one. Is it a Gavita or something? Whatever it's called, Belvita, whatever. Yeah, they had that. Yeah, they had something like that up there. Anyway, there were about 20 religions all represented, and I thought, right, that's a reasonable thing.
I'd be so tempted to go find a bookstore and buy a Star Trek technical manual and then stick it on the shelf.
Yep. Well,
we were about
stick it between the Bible and the Torah, just a Star Trek manual,
That's great. About 10 to 15 years ago, we were at a hotel, and our kids they discovered the Gideon's Bible in the drawer, and they had said that the older one remembered that someone said, "Don't ever look up a certain passage in there." So of course she looks it up, and it's talking about donkeys and stuff like that.
The mission,
yeah. And so she's like, "Wow, this is in here." And I said, "There are some other questionable things in there too." "Do you know what they are?" I said, "No, I don't."
Well, there's more monsters in the Bible than a D&D manual, for fuck's sake. There's unicorns and dragons and crap and
Leviathans.
And yeah.
That's worthy right there.
And God kills more people than the devil.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we're working at a house this week, and on the bookshelf there was the Case for Christ. Next to that there was William Lane Craig books, Frank Turek, Habermas, Dawkins, Dennett, No Illusions, Ahmed Deetat, Zakir Naik, and just in front of bookshelf, there were a bin. And on front of this book, it said rubbish. It were a book by J. Warner Wallace.
Thank you, Randolph.
Oh, I'm putting in my quotes file now. It's going to show up anonymously at some point in the future. Don't be surprised.
What's that?
I feed it to a group of trolls who like to use these things once in a while.
Oh yeah, that I would say for sure. All right,
that will come out at some point. I don't know when. I don't know.
Just calm down, man. All right, it's okay.
Somebody mentioned earlier that somebody would be interested in talking to me about not being just an American from the far right.
Oh, Telltale.
Oh,
Telltale Atheist.
Yeah. Telltale. And I can help you with that.
I'll probably link it. I'll send you it on Facebook, on Twitter.
That's where you'll find
just a link to his channel or something, or a link to him.
I can link you directly to him in messengers on Twitter as well, if you want.
I'll talk to him.
I'll talk to him first. Him and I are friends. So, anyway, as you see down below there, that's the last call for alcohol. So, what I want to do before we go, I want everyone to everyone that's left. I will be doing a thank you tweet and having everyone mentioned in the thank you tweet for joining us for today. But I'll do that personally as well. Thanks to all you guys for jumping in here and hanging out with Phoebe and myself. If you missed the interview, guys, there is a link below, and you can go over there and check out the interview. It's very good. It's very good. Phoebe presents her story quite well, and I think we had a good time chatting about that.
I had a good time.
Well, that's good. So did I.
The more you know.
Pine Snake, man, great to have you back in here. It's been a while since you popped in.
Yeah, well, have them at reasonable times. I'll be in more often.
Wait a minute. It's totally reasonable here. Randolph, love the avatar. Thanks again for jumping in here, my brother.
Hey.
No, I like the other one better.
That was Phil 107. Yeah, I like it too. Yeah,
funny.
It's probably my favorite cartoon character out there. So.
Oh, yeah. It's great. And
multiple entendre. He's famous for stuff like that.
Yes. Kate, I love the new avatar thing that you got going there too.
Yeah, it's a combination of a phone filter that'll Disneyfy you, and also the demisexual lesbian flag.
Yes.
So, I mean, that doesn't accurately represent how I look, but it kind of a little bit does.
You know what I would say is it looks like you as a cartoon character. It actually resembles you very, very well.
Yeah,
I agree.
It also looks like, I mean, because that's probably 30 years younger than I actually am.
You got a nice, happy expression there. It's a lovely picture.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and you're always a blast to hang out with, anyways. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, being a big fan, I've been watching your stuff for probably over 4 years now. But just actually getting to know you and being able to hang out with you, I felt pretty cool about that. So.
See, and I'm still knocked out by that because my experience making videos is sitting at a desk with only cats around me. So I don't get to watch other people's reactions the way, like, say, a stand-up comedian might, or like a movie star might, who walks around like being asked for autographs and shit. So when people react to me like that, it's coming at me completely cold. As far as I'm concerned, you're just some dude I know on the internet that I think is a lot of fun to hang with, too. I don't see me as, like, someone who needs Neil as a fan. I like having Neil as a friend.
See, first time.
I'm a friend and a fan. So
well,
that's all
right.
I'm a fan, too. First time in a live stream with you, I thought, oh, cool, there's a famous person here.
It still knocks me up if anyone could think that of me, but all right.
Oh, you've been on YouTube a long time doing this. You're one of the early atheists on YouTube. You're in that Hall of Fame as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm a little bit OG. It's true. I've got like a catalog of about 13 years worth of atheist videos to pick through. There's more than 1,500 of them. So if you're ever bored. But for the time being, I'm still hard at work on Quinn Redshift, my animated project, which
looking forward to that. Oh yeah,
share the poster so people can see it if they haven't yet.
Oh, hang on.
So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm currently on like page 22 of 44-ish, give or take. It's about 11 minutes long, not counting the opening credits. So, and that's what I've made so far. There will be a lot more than 11 minutes when it's done.
Do you have your first episode ready yet?
Oh, it's not going to be so much episodic. The animation is going to be a lead-in to what I will probably continue as a graphic novel. But and you'll notice some of the cast. I got Aaron Raw in there. That's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
So yeah, it's I'm looking forward to it. A lot of other people are looking forward to it, and I'll keep y'all posted.
Sweet.
If you ever need a Hank Hill voice at the fuel station, just let me know.
I may need to start casting quote unquote additional voices soon. There's a bar scene with a lot of people, and I can't fake enough voices to do that for all of them. So
I'll do what I can. Just hit me up, no problem. I'll read whatever you need.
All right.
You already know my reply to that.
Yeah, well, you're doing the trailer.
Oh, that's true. That's fair.
But my next animation, we might look at, if you can act, I might look at getting you in as a major character.
Oh, I can act.
All right.
I did go to acting school way back in the day.
Right
I did
on.
stage work.
Then
Neil
for my
has
next project. I'll keep you in mind.
Neil has a fantastic monster truck announcer voice. If you have a monster truck demolition scene,
Well, like the Sunday.
And the best voice he has is doing Optimus Prime's voice from the 1980s Transformer cartoons.
Really? Let's hear your Tony J.
All right, hang on a second here. I got to get into character a little bit here.
He's amazing. He sounds he's
a professional.
Autobots roll out.
That's pretty good. It's slight different tonal thing, but I think you could fake it.
He did better before.
Autobots roll out.
Well, that's better.
Okay. All right, I'm hearing it now.
You need something longer to say. Maybe a Christopher Hitchens quote.
The Decepticons might be our enemy. You know, I could do something like that, right? But,
Sure.
Yeah.
I might actually cast you as a villain.
ooh.
Whoa.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Bad boy Neil.
Yeah, see, I'm a bad guy. I'm going to twirl my evil mustache is what I'm going to do before I tie you up to the railroad tracks.
Do you Prophet Azad voice?
My Prophet of Zod voice?
The one that you did for Prophet Azad.
Oh, you talking about...
how come I can never... Because I probably block him out of my mind. That's the one. Ray Comfort, yes.
Yeah, that's right. Now you take the banana.
Well, I tried to do that anyways. And somebody told me I sound more South African than I do New Zealand, but you know.
Mr. Comfort ain't right, I tell you what. The first time I did that voice, Neil was wondering, hey, everybody stop. Who did that? Who did that? And I just waited quietly so everybody's trying to figure out what Neil's talking about. And then finally I said, what, this voice and that voice? And Neil said, that was
Yeah, it's good. Good Hank Hill, man.
It was funny. Yeah, I don't think I did my best one just now, but...
All right, so, yeah, all right. Anyway,
Space propane.
Where the hell was I? Oh, I was trying to get people to shill their shit out. So, Phoebe, where can people find you?
You can mainly find me on the Twitter box at Phoebe J Rose, or one word. You can also find me soon. I'm starting my own podcast, and that will be advertised heavily on the Twitter box and the Facebook. Other good places that you find podcasts.
You have a YouTube channel, don't you?
Starting a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
It's in the starting thing, so the podcast will be streamed live on there, and you'll be able to watch it afterwards.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's me and a friend, and we talk about libertarian politics mainly.
Okay. Good deal.
Everybody now switches off.
Well, thank you again for being my guest today. It was a pleasure having you on.
It was an awful lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, Mr. Pine Snake, if that's your real name.
It's not.
I know it's not. I know what your real name is, and I'm not going to spew it out. Hey, people already know you as Ian anyway.
Yeah.
Tell folks where they can find you, my friend.
Anywhere I can be loud and obnoxious. Usually Twitter, _Pinesnake. I do have a fledgling YouTube channel. It's Pinesnake. And hopefully there might be something coming up soon, which Neil's actually offered to join me on. But that's still up in air, so yeah. In fact, if there's a social media, find Neil and I'll be in his friends list.
There you go. I don't know why he's muted himself, but Randolph, it's your turn, my friend.
Oh, I muted while I was typing.
Oh, I got you.
Thank you, Neil. So for people who want to know a little bit more about the Canadian Atheists, an organization I started almost a decade ago, it's at www.canadianatheists.ca. We're advocating for eliminating the stigmatization of atheists and of atheism and pushing back. Thank you. And Neil is our community advocate officially. And that's a real business card. No special effects there. Except I had.
They're edible. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, how did you find that?
Weedless?
No, I'm kidding. They're not edible.
Yeah.
And
we're pushing back against the vilification of atheists. Fortunately, in Canada, it isn't as big of a problem in many other countries, but we feel like doing this now, it makes our job easier to get there, to eliminating that completely. And so that's our hope, is to have a good chance of success with this because of that. And part of that ties into our campaign of normalizing atheism. You can read more about that at www.normalizeatheism.ca. It is a gentle and non-confrontational approach that we use with this. And there are even some theists who are on board with this because they like the approach that we're taking. Thank you to everybody who supports that. A special call out to Tang or Tart, because they've been really pushing this campaign very strongly, and we greatly appreciate that, along with everybody else who does. The True North Talk Atheism call-in program. Neil and I are going to be co-hosting it once I get the studio built, which I'm hoping to get some work done on today. We've got the most of the roof off, and I'll be getting that replaced and with proper plywood instead of the OSB that was leaking, and it was put in with screws and nails and staples, mostly staples. So we'll be building it properly, so it's not going to fall apart afterwards and leak, which will be very important for a studio to not have a leaky roof. So
yeah, be good. It'll be good.
Yeah. So it takes a little longer to build.
Beer getting watered down while we're aired.
Yeah, no, we can't have that at all. That's pretty important. Otherwise, it could put at risk the sanctity of the show. Yeah. So thank you very much, Neil, for hosting this. And and if anybody wants to see YouTube stuff that I'm involved in, have some debates and whatnot on there, I'm going to be putting some updates on there again soon. It's at www.youtube.com/Randolf Richardson. Remember, Randolph is spelled RANDOLF. Thank you very much to everyone in the audience who's tuned in live today, and it was very nice to meet you, Phoebe. I hope I'm saying your name right now. And it was great chatting with everybody here. Thank you for hosting this, Neil.
Always fun. All right, Kate, it's your turn.
What? I just did. I said Quinn Redshift, remember?
Oh, what? Did I put everyone out of order? Oh, maybe that's what it was. All right, fine.
Silly person.
I am. I fully admit it. It might be the gummy bears.
Yeah, see, I'm out of weed right now. It stinks. I could. It's just...
See, if we were neighbors, I could show up with a big fucking spliff rolled up.
Okay, well, tell you what, then move me to Canada. I'm only most of a country away from you.
Yeah, you're not that far, really. It'd take me about 24 hours to get down there.
I could totally just walk to the dispensary if I wanted to, but I've done so much in such a short amount of time that I should just sort of cleanse for a while, and then it'll be better after a week. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah, I know people that do that on the regular so that they can actually, because they say they go for so long and then all of a sudden, it's not really having the effect it used to. So they go off it for like a couple of weeks and then they go back and they're like, yeah,
exactly. And someone in that Twitter group we were in was saying like, why would anyone do that? And I'm just like, because I want to actually feel something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, people work differently. Their body chemistry works differently with the stuff. So
yeah,
we just do what we do. That's what I do. Something like that. Anyway, if you're, I needed your. We'll talk about that, of course, in DMs. A mailing address for you, Kate, because I do have something that I saw and I wanted to grab for you, and I was going to ask when your birthday was, but it doesn't really need to be a special
December,
day.
So
is it? Yeah, it doesn't mean. Yeah. So we can do. You know how they have like Christmas in July? We could do like Kate's birthday in July.
Well, I have your cell phone number now. I can give you my mailing address in a way that will not be hijacked online.
There you go. Okay, fair enough.
Sounds like
All
a
right.
wise choice.
Yeah, and as you heard earlier, and I already posted up the little link, don't forget to head over to our new YouTube. Well, it's not that new yet, but it's the True North Talk, so you can catch our launch date with Randolph and I going live with the talk show, or call-in show, I should say.
Once we have a launch date. Yep.
Yes, because we're not Merv Griffin, so it's not a talk show.
Maybe we should call it a launch date.
Kate, didn't you have a PO box listed in your videos?
She does, yeah.
Just send it to that then.
No. I want to make sure.
I don't have a PO box.
You used to.
No, I didn't.
Are you sure?
In my
it were Amazon wish.
I do have
Amazon
my
wish
list up there. Yes,
That's what
I'm thinking of.
Which is not as chock full as it used to be, but that's partly because Amazon's been malfunctioning on me lately. But there's some choice items in there, you know.
Cool. Anyway, so you can watch myself and a bunch of other great hosts on the revamped, relaunched Nonprofits, which airs between Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience about 3 p.m. Central Time. So head over to that channel and sub if you haven't already, and you'll see a whole bunch of us doing the new show. And of course, last but not least, the last Saturday of every month, which we're hoping that all goes well, and Kate will actually be able to join us this time for the end of June here, where we're going to do the Atheist Drinking Out Loud over on the Laughing at Disbelief channel. And we always have a lot of fun. We did have Nick was happy to jump in with us because Kate couldn't that day. And so we had Nick Suter on for the last episode. So,
and I do still have that Captain Morgan left. So, you know.
There you go. Perfect. And I bought for last night, I was on what was it? Tang's show, Scotch, Whiskey, and Cigars or something like that. So I had to go out and buy some nice Scotch. And I decided I'm going to go for a decent, really good, fairly expensive one. And this is the small bottle of the Macallan 12, which has really good write-ups in Scotch type stuff. And the small bottle cost me $80.
Yeesh.
Right? The big bottle.
Wait, but that's Canadian dollars, not real money. Okay, I can't even say that with a straight face.
It's probably about $67 or so for you.
You prefer we use Dogecoin?
No,
don't use any of that shit. But
it's funny to me how many of my fellow Americans will actually say things like that and mean it.
Yeah, I know. But that was a small bottle. The bigger bottle was well over $140. So I was like, no. Yeah, but I like a good single malt Scotch. That's kind of my thing. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. If you missed the original interview, like I said earlier, there's a link to it below, and that'll take you to all the links where you can find this amazing lady right over here, Phoebe. All right. So until next time, guys, like I always say at the end of these things, like the late... Well, hang on. Let me get rid of that and do this one because I forgot to
Ready
do
to
the last
wait.
one.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I always say at the end of the after parties, like the late, great Carl Sagan once said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And we'll see you guys next time.